dollars in startup funding and business plan competitions. Start your journey today. The first step is hopping online and visiting business.louisville.edu. We're on the air today from 2:32 until 5:30 here on 1450 AM, 96.1 FM, streaming across the land, including on YouTube. You know us better as the Big X. Mike Rutherford's here. Roman Kelly is here, producing the absolute hell out of the show as always. I feel like I mess up the intro on Tuesdays. I don't know if it's because I get worried about saying the word entrepreneurial, which I typically flub over.
What?
Whenever I screw up the intro, it's the Tuesday. And we have specific reads.
Oh, for each day?
For U of L. Technically, I can read whatever I want. But like I like to do, we've got 5, so I do one on Monday, one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday. And the Tuesday one is the one that has entrepreneurial right there at the beginning. And I've gotten better at it, but it's a tough word to say for me because I'm dumb. And I feel like maybe I'm overly focused on that when I get going because whenever I do flub the intro, it's always a Tuesday. Or like when I'm sick. But mostly just the Tuesday issue. But we're going to get better today. It's a minor setback for a major comeback here. We got 3 hours of hot sports radio talk coming your way. We've got some football stuff happening. A lot of video games chatter out there. Big men's basketball news to talk about. And I don't say that lightly. We've got some off-the-beaten-path stories that we have to discuss that we didn't have a chance to get to yesterday because we had so much going on. We've got a little bit of other talk going on from some other sports that are out there. A little bit of baseball chatter. Not Reds. We're not talking about the Reds today. No worries there. And then plenty of effort from you guys on the Gameday Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. As always, questions, comments, concerns, topic ideas, whatever you got. Welcome there. Before we do any of it, though, we say hi to our guy, Roman Kelly. You just heard him on Running with Roman for the past 30 minutes here on the Big X.
Didn't record it like an idiot.
Oh, God. We're both off to terrible starts.
Got the last 6 minutes of it. Yeah, I've had actually a really super weird day.
Just scatterbrained a little bit?
Yes.
Something in the air. It's got to be something in the air. I don't know what it is, but got to be something in the air.
But I feel fine. I feel great, which is good. So I'm great. Went to the range yesterday, got the irons, feeling at least comfortable again.
You got the bug. You sent me and Scoot some videos. Very solid contact.
Did you see the sky in each of those 3 videos? You could tell how long I was there.
Getting darker and darker.
Well, I actually only bought like the $10 basket, and then this guy, one of the workers, is coming and picking all the baskets up, and where I'm at, I didn't even notice, like behind me, somebody left like half of a big basket.
Oh, it's a good
and
feeling.
Like, you want these? I'm like, yeah.
Sure.
So I was there a lot longer than I planned to be, but
boy.
That's fine. And got the irons feeling at least comfortable in my hand and figuring out that I'm, I can't even say what I'm doing wrong because I'm doing a few things wrong, but the things that I can pinpoint that I can fix, at least trying to fix those. And, today went to the alignment place, said, hey, make this perfect. It's 98%. I need it 100% perfect. They said, okay. And going to go pick that up later. Going to help the girlfriend move a piece of furniture. And
big stuff happening.
Yeah, just regular day, just a little bit scatterbrained. You can make like really, really, really minor decisions that I just wasn't thinking all the way through so far in my day.
I can't wait for you to have one like semi-good round of golf where you shoot like 60 at Crescent Hill or Cherokee or something, and then just like go way over the top. Like start getting your clubs professionally regripped. Like you're like taking them in. You're going to get. Yeah, I got a fitting schedule for Thursday. Club champion. Don't worry about it. Where the fittings are wild. Where they'll analyze your swing. You'll hit into the simulator like a bunch of times, and they'll basically tell you like, no. It's not that you suck at golf. It's that the clubs are wrong. Like that. That's where the technology is, and they'll get you the perfect club so that when you hit it, it will actually go straight. I did one for a driver. They did like a media thing a few years ago, and it is crazy. I still use that driver now, but I can't wait for that to be you. Like when you like one taste of minor success.
I feel like the one taste won't do it. I feel like I'm far out from being willing to spend any extra money.
Oh, it's happening.
The free clubs are gonna have to work for me.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like I'm be more the type to just like go get the cheapest set that I know is for my height, like this complete, fat grips. Just buy that all once. Once I've gotten, I feel like I'm worth doing that. But I'm far out from that.
Well, I'm still the same way. I don't play enough to justify spending a ton of money on golf. I mean, case in point, there was a funny picture that my wife took when we were getting ready to drive to Hilton Head. Like my daughter, she is notoriously like kind of high maintenance, just like her mom. We love her for it. She's getting ready to like nap in the car, and she's got like neck pillow on, headphones on, sleep mask on, like blankie wrapped around. Like she's just like, she's loaded up. She looks like I don't even know how to describe it. And so I take that picture, and I'm like, the good thing about traveling with my daughter is at least she's super low maintenance. And it's all about, like, I'm just putting a joke out there about her. My clubs are visible in the picture. And on Twitter, the picture reaction just, it ends up like just devolving into this roast session of my clubs where people are like, why are you even bringing those? I'm like, are Callaway Diablos not cool? It was a huge present for me, like in 2012. My dad hooked it up for Christmas. I wanted like a couple of irons because I'd been using like the clubs that my brother gave me when I was 14 forever. And Dad like surprised me with this whole new set. And it was incredible. And I will run those bad boys into the ground because I play like 4 or 5 times a year. I can't justify spending like $3,000 on a new set of irons. For one, I'm not good enough.
Well, we're playing next week.
We're playing next week again?
Yep.
I am playing this weekend. It's Podcast Dan's 40th birthday tomorrow.
Ooh.
He's going to be in town. His golf game's been very up and down. He's excited for the possibility to take me out this weekend and take me down in golf because he's getting very, very upset that my scoring somehow is still like, it seems to be getting better even though I don't play at all, and he plays in a league every single week. So it's going to be a grudge match, but I'm excited for Dan's 40th birthday. He's going to get way too drunk. He's going to be stupid. It's going to be fun. I'm very pumped about that.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. Good news today from the Rutherfords to kick off today's show. Good omen for the week ahead, Roman. John Rutherford, no more cast, no more brace. He's good to go.
Ooh.
It's good to go. Now, we got to take him back Friday, which is why I've got to be off the radio, unfortunately, on Friday's show. But they took the x-rays today, brought him in. They're like, everything's looking good. The doctor used the word phenomenal. So he was very excited about it. But he's also like, well, I kind of want it. He's like, I want the brace. I'm like, no, you don't. You're out of the brace now. You're done. You're good to go. And he has the most hilarious. My kids, thankfully, have more of their mom's skin than my skin. Like, they both tan very easily.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, I notoriously just get red and then go back to being Casper the Ghost. And so John, he's got this just gnarly, ridiculous tan line on his right arm now for where the cast and the brace has been for the past, 6 weeks. Because he's like dark beach kid all over his arm except for this one, 8-inch section. He's just, pure white. And so now we're going to have to work on that. But he's very happy. Out of the cast, out of the brace, he did great. It's been a hell of a 6-7 week run since I got that call on the air that day that he had just shattered his arm. And, thankfully he's good to go. Now, we knew he was going to the doctor today. And so, of course, Mary walks in last night. And we've been letting him go to sleep because we were rearranging rooms at our house. So basically, he starts off sleeping in the same bed as Virginia. We put them to bed together. And then we move John. So Mary goes in there to move John. I put this picture on Instagram if you want the full view. He is like falling off the bed. Like half of his body is hanging upside down off the bed. His head is like a solid maybe 10 inches off the ground. And he's sound asleep. Didn't wake up. And I was like, how? I mean, it could have been terrible. Like the day before he's potentially going to get his cast off, what if he had fallen off the bed and just shattered that arm again? But this is the weird thing about kids. One of the million weird things about kids. This is just normal. I wake up half the time if John gets in bed with me, where he's just lying perpendicular, the opposite way of where a bed is. Like his feet are in my face and his head is on the other side of the bed. If you woke up in the morning, lying upside down, hanging off of the bed, and you realize that you've been sleeping that way for God knows how long, you would drive straight to the hospital. You'd be like, something is seriously wrong with me.
Yeah.
And for kids, it's like, yeah, that's just, that happens. It's insane the way that they sleep. And this is why, I've gotten 3 good nights of sleep in the last 5 years or so. But thankfully, didn't fall off the bed. Thankfully, for now, we've got no broken arm. We're working on getting Virginia stitches out of her trigger thumbs. Quite the year for the Rutherford kids and being injured, having surgeries, getting all that good stuff done.
They're battle tested.
We've hit the deductible. If we have any procedures that need to get done, we need to get them done in the next 5 months because this is the year. This is the year to get it done. I've never thought about getting plastic surgery for myself. I might just get like a nose job or something because we got to get it done this year. I'm not going to. We'll get you on our plan. Get that deviated septum taken care of.
Let me get it.
Yeah,
I need it.
We'll make it happen. But super happy that he's out of the clear. He also is at times like the sweetest kid. So he's a big donut fan. He's become like all he does is talk about donuts. Chocolate sprinkled donuts is all he wants. And so we were kind of over in the general area by our old house, and we stopped by Jeff's Donuts off Breckenridge Lane. And I was like, I'm going to get you a donut, buddy. You've been great. You were super brave. You did fantastic. You got through these 7 weeks, and you deserve a donut. And at Jeff's, if you stop in there, they always come out and they give you like these free like little donut holes. And so they gave John, they're like, here's 2 donut holes. He ate the first one, and then he's like, I want to save the second one for Virginia because she was so brave when she had her surgery. I was like, buddy, that's my guy. That's my guy right there.
Great brother right there.
Every now and then, he really surprises you with something positive. We got lots to get to today. Let's start with this. Are you ready for some big news?
Yes.
Fruitastrophe 2025, Roman. The Frupocalypse. The Frunami. Sananda Aster. It's over. It's done. There is no more. Is he going to play here? Is it done? Is he going to get stuck in Germany? Has Trump screwed us? No. Sananda Fru, Roman, in Louisville, has the student visa. He's already signed the paperwork, so we knew that he was good to go in that department. You know, this talk about maybe this new ruling that's going to keep him from being drafted if he plays college basketball. Maybe he never plays for us because of that. It's done. He's here. The word started spreading this morning that he was back, and then U of L makes it official about 30 minutes ago, I think while you were on the air, so you may not have even seen this, with pictures of a number of players going through team workouts today with the headline saying in the lab, and 2 of the players that are pictured are Fru and Vangelis Zugris. So we already knew he was here. But Sananda Fru, Roman.
Didn't see this. That's great.
It's done. One less thing to talk about. No more texts about this. No more have you heard any updates. No more random Twitter reports about crazy things happening. Sananda Fru has the student visa. He signed his paperwork. He's a Louisville Cardinal. He's practicing with the team. He will be playing in the post for us coming up this winter. Good news.
This is great news, Mike. I'm excited to see this. This is quick. Actually, I feel like this is fairly quick for us knowing that he was back overseas and getting this all figured out, to know that he's already in the lab over here, Mike. This is huge. He's already getting after it. He's probably getting after it right now as we speak.
This is why it would be so annoying to work at U of L. Like every now and then, I never get annoyed because when people are like asking the same question over and over, because it's we're lucky to be in this position where people are coming to us for info when it comes to sports news. We're lucky to be able to work in sports, period. So day after day, we've been getting texts on the show. I've been getting texts personally from people who are like, "What's going on with Sananda Fru?" And then I am doing the exact same thing to like the people at UFL where I'm like, hey, and they just, like, I heard the same thing where it's like, there's nothing else that I can tell you. This is not a surprise. We knew this was going to have to happen. This is a by the book type deal. He was here technically on an official visit when he first arrived to sign the paperwork and to start workouts, and he'll be back soon. And so every time I'm like 2 days later, I'd be like, you sure? I'm getting nervous. Like, we're all completely jaded by what's taken place over the past 10 years within this program. And I can't imagine how many other people are reaching. Like, if you work for U of L and people know that you've got inside info about anything like this, how many times you get texts from people just asking the same question every single day, and you just have to be like, no, nothing's changed. It's still good to go. So now, the Khalifa thing, Roman, settled. Mohamed Kamara, settled. Sananda Fru, settled. Vangelis Zugris, settled. Dylan Despians, here on the team, exists apparently. Unless they're just making him up to screw with us. We're good to go. Things are settled.
Things are settled.
Things are set.
The team is here.
this is what we wanted. Michael Brown, now his stint with Team USA has come to a close. It's July 8th. Our fears about getting really deep into the summer, maybe the beginning of the fall semester of school, with still some question marks out there about is Farouk going to be good to go? Is Khalifa going to be good to go? All that's done. The team can start full squad activities. The coaching staff can start preparing and scheming and doing whatever they're going to do with the full knowledge that the 12 scholarship players that they brought in for this season are all good to go. This is good. No contingency plans have to be made. We're full go from this point forward. It's a relief, if nothing else.
It is. When you know that you're kind of taking the unorthodox, semi-unorthodox route, which not really. Nothing about Ali is unorthodox, but
right.
You brought a guy in who is taking that extended eligibility because of a red shirt, and he's not playing in his first year, kind of not really black and white on what was, at least in the eyes of the NCAA, with his time of his injury last year and how long he didn't play, or the time of his injury and when he was supposed to be back, I guess they were saying. Some people were saying. And then Sonny Fu, when is he going to be here? Is he going to be here in time to get practice, training, weight training, all of that stuff? And then not only that, 2 role guys, Mike, that you were taking an unorthodox route in both Zucris and Kamara. They're both here. Everybody here right at the time frame of if they were pretty much normal players, like if they were transfer portal guys, they'd obviously been like maybe a week or so earlier, but it's not far off when everything would have happened anyway. And to know that they chose this path and they trust that these guys are going to be what they think is going to benefit this team, and it's all worked out, it's great to see.
Now, I said everything's squared away. I guess the one thing that's out there that's still, I don't even want to say unsettled, but it is not like, I'm talking about Case and Pryor.
Yeah, I figured.
Because he's not back to 100%, and he's probably not going to be back to 100% until at the very earliest when the team is ready to start official practice back in September. So that's the only thing that's out there. Besides that, I mean, you've got 11 scholarship players now. You can run 5s in practice. You can go 5-on-5 with basically the 5-on-5 teams that you're going to have once September rolls around, outside of Kaysen, obviously. This is it feels good to have things squared away like this. It also feels like there's a part of me that's still like uneasy, just because, like I said, we're all dealing with PTSD or KPTSD or whatever you want to call it from everything that's happened the past 8 years. Like, we're never in a position, and I still don't think it's going to be the case until we actually go out there and make a run in the NCAA tournament. We're just expecting something bad to happen, whether it's injuries or like the NCAA coming in like the Kool-Aid man and being like, yeah, we heard something. Like, if everything happening right now with the men's basketball program, it kind of feels too good to be true. And unfortunately, the old...
No, I got to interrupt, Mike. You got to get out of that mindset.
So.
No! Mike, look how many games we just won in the last 3 years. Look what the team has been the last 3 years. And in
You mean the 3 before last year?
Sorry. The 3 before the previous year. And in 1 year, Pat Kelsey's able to put the team back in that kind of position. And now, in one summer, in one offseason, he's gotten the roster in a top to bottom, much better place than it was last year in the eyes of everybody. So I get that we're still going into a season with question marks in terms of the personnel, and then obviously already having had things that are like, eyeball emoji stuff. I don't even know what you call them. Like the Ollie and the Fruit wasn't actually a situation. It was something we were waiting on, while Ollie was in a situation that shouldn't have happened. It's like, okay, we're dealing with something that shouldn't happen, and we're waiting on something because it's technically an unorthodox thing. I get that those are just like, until you see them on the floor accumulating stats that are going to count as Louisville Cardinals, it's kind of like I get that feeling, but at the same time, Mike, you've got to trust that this coaching staff has all the players that they need, and they trust that the way that they're going to go about playing basketball is going to be elite.
Roman, I'm not saying that this is rational thinking.
Okay.
I'm saying that we're all because every time that we've been in the position where you're saying basically like we can assume that things are going to be good moving forward.
And then something happens.
And everything about the past 16 months since Pat Kelsey got the job indicates exactly what you're saying. Let me take you back real quickly. Chris Mack gets the job. See if this sounds familiar. Program's in a deep, dark place. Nobody expects him to make the NCAA tournament in year one. He makes the NCAA tournament easily. Going into the whole offseason, 2019-20, we've accumulated this big talent. There's all this talk about Louisville being back. Do you remember going into 2019-20 what we were ranked in the preseason polls? AP and coaches.
Like 16th?
Number 5. We were the number 5 team in the country.
I didn't remember that.
People talked about us being a legitimate national title contender, Final Four contender, sure. We famously, as has been brought up a number of times over the past year or so, got to number 1 in the country in December. And while we were not the number 5 team in the country when we got to the ACC tournament, we still thought, we've got good offense here. We could go on a run. Global pandemic.
Yeah.
And then the whole Chris Mack operation falls apart. FBI gets back involved. We hire Kenny Payne. You'll have to forgive people for being like, I'm not going to, I still just have this weird feeling in the back of my brain that something bad's going to happen. Until we get to a period of sustained success over 2, 3, 4 years, I feel like we're all going to just have that a little bit.
I understand it. I just also think that the hands that we're in, and it can't get worse, Mike. It can't get worse than what it was.
Oh, God, we got to stop saying this. Yeah. Every time I say this, people are like, please stop. But you're right. There's no rational reason right now.
After already seeing it get like that and how it happened.
And like I said yesterday, I think that there are also really valid reasons to point to and say things under Chris Mack, even if coronavirus never came, things under Chris Mack were never going to be as good as it looks like things under Pat Kelsey could be. Case in point, like I said, we started that season 2019-20 at number 5. That team, they could have absolutely saved it with a big March run. That team underachieved compared to what we thought they were going to be in the preseason. They were looking at more of a 4 or 5 seed, whereas the preseason rankings said they probably should have been a 2 or a 1 seed. And I think that when you saw some of the recruiting misses that he, the Super 6 was not super. I don't know if we ever were going to be consistent national title contenders. And look, there's no guarantee that Pat Kelsey is going to make us consistent national title contenders either. But I think that the fit with him is better. I think that he is more basketball insane in all the right ways than Chris Mack was. I think that we're recruiting from a different pool right now. And I think that the changes going on in the college sports landscape could really benefit Louisville basketball specifically moving forward, because it's always been basically a pro sport in a pro sport city that doesn't have real pro sports, at least in the main leagues. Apologies to Racing, Lou City, and the Bats. But there's always going to be that little thought in the back of your mind, just kind of waiting for something bad to happen, because it hasn't just been one thing. It's been thing after thing after thing after thing for 8 years. But as of right now, the vibe is good. Sananda Fru is here. He's good to go. Ali Khalifa is good to go. Zugris, Kamara, good to go. All is right with the world. We'll talk about more positives after the break. We got the big dog barking once again as we got off the air yesterday. I know you guys were on the air for that. We'll talk about that commitment. We'll talk a little bit about the big things happening with the college football video game that pertain to Louisville. And then we'll maybe have an early trip to the text line at 502-414-1450. It's the Mike Rutherford Show presented by United Mechanical here on the Big X. That was paid, it seems still getting mine. All this hate I'm hearing, though, I ain't hearing. 133. You can also visit them online at UnitedMechanicalInc.com. Roman Kelly's in the house. Follow him on Twitter at RomyBean, ROMEYBEAN. What's the latest with the real spiel? What do we got going on this week?
Been lacking on the real spiel. Actually, I was thinking about it today, though, how I need to get on this week and react to the new commitments and the Louisville basketball players all being on campus and Michael Brown Jr.'s showing in the FIBA U19, Mike.
Mm-hmm. There's also something weird going on.
Just haven't been after it, been busy working on that car up until this week.
Man, the car's just ruining everything. Real Spiel contributor, former Mike Rutherford Show producer Trevor Kelsey. He told me like a month and a half ago. Yeah, this has kind of been the year of Trevor. He's an Eagles fan. They won the Super Bowl. He's a Pacers fan. They damn near won the World Championship. He's a Blue Jays fan in baseball. And so like a month and a half ago when the Pacers were making their run, he's like, the Blue Jays, they got a run coming. I'm just telling you right now. It's happening. And sure enough, like the Jays, 10-game winning streak? They look like the biggest World Series threat outside of like the Yankees and the Dodgers and the teams that you expect to be there. There's a great video of the like the World Series contenders, and it's the Dodgers and the Yankees as Michael Cera and Seth Rogen from Superbad, and then McLovin shows up in the Blue Jay with like wearing the Blue Jays logo. And like who are you? This is the year of Trevor, and I think this portends great things for us because Trevor also famously diehard U of L sports fan. Could we be playoff college football, Final Four men's basketball? We need that Trevor magic. And I'd like to hear Trevor talk about that sometime soon on the Real Spiel Sports Podcast.
We need to get him out there. Well, I'll make it happen this week.
He's riding high these days, literally and figuratively.
He's doing. We ought to let him host it.
Damn right. Speaking of things that are less cool, we kicked off the annual Card Chronicle Least Cool Person Tournament this week. Took your nominees, whatever that was, 2 weeks ago, week before 4th of July. It always happens when the athletic season has officially come to a close. We analyze the worst things that happen to us, the least cool things that happened to us over the past athletic season, and then we have a tournament. The one exception, of course, was last year when Kenny Payne was the clear, overwhelming choice to win the award, and so we just did a tournament of Kenny Payne things. We've had 2 matchups so far. One is in the books. The other one is live right now on cardchronicle.com. So yesterday's quarterfinal matchup, Roman, and it got controversial, but it was the injury bug, which affected multiple sports, versus the Stanford football game. So injury bug, probably most notably, men's basketball team loses Kason Pryor, Corin Johnson for the entire season. They've got multiple in-season injuries where players have to miss multiple games. Chucky Hepburn, Rain Smith, Boubacar Traore, Noah Waterman, the list goes on. But also like volleyball, Anna DeBeer has the ankle injury in the Final Four and then misses the national championship game, potentially costing that team a national title. Baseball team deals with injuries, so forth, so on. Stanford game, pretty straightforward. Crazy-ish happens at the end of that game, which results in a at-the-horn 52-yard field goal for us to lose to a terrible Stanford team that finished the season 3-9. It also cost us not just a shot. I mean, I don't think, knowing what we know now, we would have had a shot to make the college football playoff, although we were the highest-ranked 3-loss team at that time, number 19 in the CFP at that time. It did now, we know, cost us $1.8 million, which is what we would have made, the bonus we would have received for finishing in the final college football playoff top 25. So that's not exactly chump change out there. Very uncool. Now, the Stanford game was out to a, not huge lead, but like a sizable lead after the first 12 hours of voting. I think it was getting 60% of the vote. Now, people have been claiming shenanigans on all Card Chronicle polls for years. People can rig this. I don't know exactly how it works. Like the Bring Brom Home guy won Person of the Year, and people were furious about it. I'm not, all I know how to do is put the poll up. I can't put any sort of safeguards in. I'm not tech savvy enough to know how exactly you screw with the polls. The injury bug made a comeback. The injury bug wound up winning that with 53% of the vote. Who would you have voted for had you been able to see this before it went final today?
Injury bug because of other sports.
I had the injury bug as the favorite. If you're doing like my seeding, this was kind of the 4-5 matchup, and I had the injury bug as the slight favorite in a 4-5 matchup. I mean, I think because it affected multiple sports, maybe cost us a national title, certainly cost us a chance to have an even better basketball season than we already did, and baseball. It made that team infuriating until we got healthy and went on that big run in the NCAA tournament. So I don't have an issue with the injury bug advancing, but some people are upset with the way that the voting played out. They're calling shenanigans on it. Now, today's quarterfinal, I think, is a little bit more straightforward. We've got ACC football officiating. And if you need a recap, big-time calls seem to go against us in all three of our first losses. Can't blame the Stanford game on bad calls. But SMU, Brashard Smith's knee looks like it's still up. Looks like his shin is still up. He fumbles the ball as they're driving late. We should have a chance to have the ball, go down the field, and score what could be the game-winning points. Instead, the call on the field gets overturned, which is still the big thing there. They saw it as indisputable that his shin touched the ground. And then the call was so egregious, everybody, not just Louisville fans, looked at it and said, I think that's very wrong. The ACC reaches out to apologize to Jeff Brom before Jeff Brom can even complain. We lose the game. SMU goes on to make the college football playoff. Notre Dame game, multiple weird spots. The double pass interference call on Colin Lacey, some weird stuff there. And then the Miami game, we return a fumble for a touchdown. Looks like it totally changes the tide of the game. They once again overturn that call. Questionable call for sure. We wind up losing by 7. They're taking on Duke basketball Twitter. The Duke basketball official men's basketball account had some very annoying things to say about Pat Kelsey, had some very annoying things to say about Chucky Hepburn when they won ACC Coach of the Year and ACC Defensive Player of the Year, respectively. Of course, their fans on Twitter are notoriously annoying. I think this one is relatively straightforward, unless you're just like I'm fully basketball, I don't care that much about football type fan. But I think the ACC football officiating's got to be the winner.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer there, Mike. If that officiating goes a little bit of a different way, maybe the Stanford game doesn't matter, or maybe we can lose the Stanford game because we have one loss at that point or something. You never know. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, at the very least, if one of those calls goes differently and we win the game as a result, we finish in the top 25 and we get that $1.8 million. Now, all we had to do was beat Stanford to make that happen, so at the end of the day, we can only really blame ourselves. But if the officials also do their jobs, we're a top 25 team last year, and, we've got back-to-back 10-win seasons, which is something you can hang your hat on a little bit. So the officiating, it screwed us. And it leads you down these roads of like, well, how different would things have been down the stretch if we had been, 7-2 going into that Stanford game as opposed to 6-3, or whatever we were, 7-3. If we had 2 losses or 1 loss in November, would we have played totally differently? Would we have been a little bit more motivated? Would your subconscious is just there a little bit more, and we could have maybe made the playoff. So you do kind of wonder how things would have gone, especially the SMU game to me, because we would have had a shot to make the ACC title game if we had won that game and then not spit the bit against Stanford. So very uncool right there. We got 2 more quarterfinal matchups this week. We'll unveil one tomorrow and then one on Thursday, and then we'll get you ready for the semifinals next week. Are you still, if you had to pick, not knowing the full field yet, who's your favorite to win this thing?
I'd say the injury bug.
I still think I'm giving this away, but the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee, I think, would be my pre-tournament favorite. But I've not been as good recently at predicting who the people are going to vote for as I used to be. I used to kind of have a handle on where I thought this thing was going to go, and I've been surprised by some of these results in recent years. But we'll get there. Now, at the end of the calendar year, we always do the Card Chronicle Person of the Year as well. We're about halfway through the year. If you had to right now talk about early favorites for that award, who do you go with?
Chucky Hepburn.
Chucky Hepburn's got to be in the mix. Now, Chucky, unfortunately, he has the unfortunate deal.
He gets the floor, Mike.
He did, but also like his good deeds for the calendar year of 2025 are going to be limited to like the first 3.5 months of the year, and so like I think a lot of times there's a recency bias where people are more
like Michael Brown could technically win it.
Yeah, I mean people are kind of more in line with talk about like what just happened or what is happening. Like the football coach, I think gets a little bit more of a bonus because the football season just wrapped or you're getting ready for the bowl game or whatever. Last year, I think we went with the volleyball team won, which I think was a deserved honor for sure. That wasn't a recency bias. They were the coolest thing that happened in the calendar year of 2024. But, I mean, let's say the basketball team is like, they go through that brutal non-conference schedule. They've got a sparkling record. They beat Kentucky. They're ranked somewhere in like the top 5.
Then it'd be Pat Kelsey.
Pat Kelsey's going to be the favorite.
Yeah.
But also, like, by that point in time, the football team could be playing the playoff. If that happens, Jeff Brom's probably the favorite because Pat Kelsey, you don't know how that team is
Isaac
going
Brown's
ahead.
like a candidate or a Heisman candidate.
Yeah, exactly. Isaac Brown could be in there. Hell, the volleyball team could win the national title. Dan McDonnell also took this team to the College World Series. Like, I think McDonnell's kind of waiting there. If the basketball team underachieves in November and December and the football team doesn't have a great year, like Dan McDonnell's like, okay, I won the College World Series. Let's get me in there. Like, I should win this thing.
Went to the College World Series.
Thank you. Went to the College World Series. Still feels like an achievement when you get there. Still feels like you won something, even if you don't.
More super regional. I mean, yeah, that's
win the entire thing. So it's fun to be talking about. Like we used to have to. There were a couple years there where we were like searching for candidates, where it was like, all right, Jeff Walsh hasn't won this thing. Had an okay year. Let's give it to him. No longer the case. The least cool person tournament is going to be back to like non-infuriating things and just kind of like stupid things, which is what we have here, besides the ACC football officials. And the person of the year, I think, is going to be a lot more worthy candidates, which I'm very, very excited about. Maybe the big dog could sneak in there. Yesterday had big-time offers coming out of Des Moines. Georgia offered him. Michigan offered him. Florida State offered him. No, obviously the local schools, Iowa and Iowa State, really wanted him badly. He went ahead yesterday, made his official announcement, put on the Louisville hat, rocked a Stone Cold Steve Austin T-shirt over a Louisville T-shirt, which was incredible, and picks the cards. This is a big-time get for this 2026 class, which is really coming together nicely. It just feels like we're getting 4-star after 4-star now, which is very cool. We've not been swimming in those waters for a long time. As we mentioned yesterday, McGregory, he's ranked as the number 19 athlete in the entire class by 24/7 Sports. He's a top 400 prospect, 4-star player in the 24/7 Sports composite rankings. 6'2", 195, could play on both sides of the ball. He also, talk about his athleticism, is like a all-state basketball player out there. So, we have an injury bug situation again in a couple of years. Need somebody to help out. Maybe you bring Jade McGregory over for a couple of months on the basketball team.
Let's have 2 hoopers on the football team, Mike.
Who's the other one?
Julius Miles.
Oh, he can play too?
Yeah.
I like that. I like having those options. So, big get for Jeff Brom and company. Now, the big dog, did you see what the big dog did after the commitment? We talked yesterday about how, like, when we get commits, it's almost like you get very excited to see what the big dog's going to say.
Yep.
So the big dog puts out this video of just, like, this guy talking about, I'm the largest, like, it's classic rap video, just all this, like, I'm the largest, I'm the man, and it's sort of a reference to himself. Now, have you heard what the name of this rapper is?
Pitbull?
Well, no.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
So you didn't see the big dog tweet?
I saw it. I didn't watch it.
So it's a rap video. It's this very large man, and he's talking about being the biggest. And I don't know if we can play the clip. I don't know if it's edited or not. But the name of the rapper, Roman.
Oh wait, that's I'm seeing it here now. I'm seeing like his tweet. Is his name Big X the Plug?
Big X the Plug. Do we think this is sort of like a subtle olive branch to us?
It has to be, Mike.
It absolutely
is. It has to be.
It's absolutely a thinly veiled message to us. The big dog's like...
I didn't even think about this when I saw it.
Oh, I did. It's all I've been thinking about for the past 20 hours.
You knew who it was immediately?
No, no idea whatsoever. I was quickly informed by many people that this was Big X the Plug. So, all this talk, I've been like, I don't even know if the big dog knows that I was making tweets about him pretty consistently for the last 7 or 8 years and how he feels about it. I feel like this is him saying, look, my guy. That's what he calls me. My guy.
That's what he's saying.
I know we have a lot of history here. I saw what you did. Still not the biggest fan. But we're on the same team now. We're playing for the same squad. We have the same dream of helping Louisville football get to the promised land, to play for an ACC title, to win a national championship. This is me reaching out and saying, I see you, big dog. He calls me a little dog. I see you, little dog. I'm like, I see you, big dog. Big X the Plug. Maybe he can't come on the show yet. Maybe we're not there. But this is an olive branch, if I've ever seen one.
He's letting us know he's thinking about us.
He is. He's listening right now. That big bad dog. Party dog. By the way, Big X the Plug. Stage name is Xavier Landrum. He's from Dallas, Texas. He's known for his gritty delivery and raw authenticity, according to Wikipedia. Just sounds like the dog himself. His 2022 project, Big Stepper, and singles like Safe House and Prime Time helped establish him as a rising star in hip-hop. Had a little weed arrest. That's okay. We don't judge that around here. If the next one is like Roman 560 or some rapper that I've never heard of that has Roman in his name, that's when we know. That's when we know for certain that the dog is on the Big X squad. I'm excited about this. Not just the Jaden McGregory commitment, but the big dog sending us messages.
He's feeling himself, Mike.
We feel good about this?
I feel great about this.
I feel great about this. I told you, I did a total 180.
I'm the biggest, the largest.
Did you listen to that? Can we play it?
No.
Okay, we can't. we can't play it.
Very next line is.
Okay. I listened to it when it first happened yesterday, before I knew who Big X the Plug was, and I couldn't remember if I immediately was like, "Well, we can't play this," because it was great. I enjoyed the tweet.
It's also one of those popular ones, and I'm sure there's a clean version because it's just too popular of a song. But
yeah,
like the clip we can't play.
Yeah. Now, the other thing going on today is more and more people are playing the College Football 2026 video game. Apparently, Isaac Brown is just ridiculous in this game. Like, I'm getting more and more reports. I'm not a gamer, so I'm living vicariously through all of you all who are playing this game. Because it was my favorite game growing up, was the college football game. But people are sending a bunch of screenshots about stuff that's out there. The one thing that keeps coming up is how much the coaches in the game just do not look like the coaches in real life. I guess with now all the added details that have to go into the players, now that they can actually, it used to always be like the players were they made the players look like the actual players, but they had to call them like quarterback number 5. Now they have to actually make the players look like themselves and give them their specific skill sets, and they're calling them by name. I assume that takes a lot more time. And I feel like the time that they used to spend on the coaches is now just not there because, spoiler alert, Bill Belichick is black in this game. I don't know if they didn't have time to get Bill Belichick done, but he looks just like Steve Harvey in the game. Dabo Swinney looks nothing like Dabo Swinney. Jeff Brom, if you've ever seen I Think You Should Leave by Tim Robinson, he looks like the Tim Robinson character where he's choking. And he's refusing to admit that he's choking. That's what Jeff Brom looks. And then Brian Brom comes out today. And he looks like Mac from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's got like a full, first of all, Brian's got as much, if not more, gray in the bottom of this beard than I do. And he's got like the full-on like set beard. He looks very angry. And sources close to Brian Brom, who may or may not be Brian Brom himself, have informed Big X Nation that they're very fine with the way that they look. They recognize that it doesn't look like them, but they're okay with it. They are very unhappy with the fact that they apparently have a C- prestige ranking in the game. All right, because Jeff Brom's prestige ranking, I'm told, is very high. Brian Brom's prestige ranking is a C-. I can't imagine what Ron English's is if Brian's a C-. But Brian, not a big. He's got beef with the folks over there at EA Sports, allegedly, from what I've heard through well-placed sources. He's not thrilled about this. Roman, are you going to get the game this weekend?
Yeah, well, probably next week.
I feel like this should be a write-off. Like this is a work requirement.
You would think
for the show. I think you can write this off, or maybe we can like crowdfund the price that you need to buy the game.
It's not that much. I'll grab it next week.
It's time. I'm excited to hear about this. Also, quick reminder for Thursday's show, we're going to be doing the Rewinder series. First one of the summer, Louisville versus Cincinnati, 2013, Nippert Stadium, Teddy Bridgewater game. Watch that before Thursday at 3:30 if you want to be involved in the conversation. Also, producer Keith was apparently there at the game, so he's going to come in and talk about it with us.
Ooh.
He's got great memories, and we love producer Keith. He's very entertaining, very informative. Yeah, he hit me up yesterday. I was like, hell, yeah, would love that. We need more producer Keith on this show. We're big fans.
I love producer Keith. We text every day.
Great friend of the program. So we're excited to have him in. He's going to give us some thoughts there.
Keith Artoff. I'm about to stop calling him producer Keith.
Man, he's producer Keith to me. Everyone has to have a nickname. When he texts in, he's going to be producer Keith. So we've got good news on the football front.
Ron English is a B- prestige.
Say what?
Ron English is a B- coach prestige.
Ron English is a B-
according to this text.
And Brian's a C-. Yeah. Oh, that wouldn't sit well with me.
It's that gold chain, Mike. Brian, you got to get you a gold chain.
I may have to make some more texts to more well-placed sources to know how they feel about being a full grade lower than Ron English in this game. That's tough. That's tough. The other thing going on in the world of Louisville football, and I love, we do this every year, every summer on the show. It's one of my favorite things to react to. The theme games for the upcoming season, the upcoming home games are out. Now, they're not nearly as, remember last year, like every game had like 17 different themes? The Boston College game was like Kim Schatzel, 100 days of service appreciation. I was like, we don't lose on Kim Schatzel 100 days since taking office game day. But this year, it's a little bit
like commemorating type of themes, right?
Yeah, like the one game had like 17 different things where it was like, we're retiring Teddy's or honoring Teddy's jersey. Also, it's like National Boy Scouts Day, and it's like Teacher Appreciation, Military Service Day. I was like, okay, can we get these guys, like, can we spread this out just a little bit? So here are our theme games for this upcoming season. And my issue with this is there's like, last year when they did the release, there was like a billion details for every theme game. This year, they give us no details. I don't know if Rocco's just taking the summer off, but come on. I place this squarely at his feet. So, season opener, August 30th versus EKU. I've got to stop saying Austin Peay. I keep thinking it's last year. The theme is For the Ville. I've got no idea what that entails. Like, isn't every home game for, I don't know if there's like special gear or if they're doing special stuff for the fans. I kind of feel like they created these themes and they're like, we'll figure something out when we get there. Let's just get this release out there. So, For the Ville.
Theme
is the theme for the EKU game. In case you were wondering who you're going to be cheering for, you're going to be cheering for the Ville for that game. Now, Friday, September 5th versus James Madison. It's throwback night. Maybe some throwback unis. Maybe some, I don't know, like 1970s camera front. Who knows what it entails? But it is throwback night. Can I also say something really quickly?
What's that?
People got mad at me. They got really mad at Keith Wynn a couple of years ago when we played, 3 years ago, when we played JMU because of like how nervous we were about playing the Dukes. We thought it was a stupid team to schedule. And, I mean, my God, like I think the game was tied at halftime. We ended up pulling away late. I think we won like 30-14. I'm already, the closer we get now to the season, I'm terrified of this game. Kelly Ford, he's one of the analytical guys on Twitter that covers college football, he ranked this as the 11th, according to his model, the 11th most exciting game for the upcoming season. I don't want this game to be exciting.
What?
Yes.
11?
11. I don't, like, you want to talk about like an early season ruiner? Like, that would be a devastating blow to lose those guys. But they are widely projected to be one of the better group of 5 teams in college football this year. I said this when we announced the scheduling. This was a prior administration deal to schedule these guys. If you're going to schedule bye games with the group of 5 level, schedule the worst. Do what Kentucky does. Like, I'm not faulting Kentucky at all because guess what? when people see, the average fan sees that group of 5 team name, they don't care if they're good or if they're the worst. When you're scrolling along the bottom line and it shows that you like lost a close game to James Madison, people view that the same way as if you had lost a close game to, whoever's
Bellarmine Football Club.
Exactly. They're like, oh my God, they lost a bye game. How embarrassing. You don't get bonus points in the world of college football for beating good group of 5 teams. There's no benefit to scheduling the James Madisons of the world, and yet we did it. Again, this is not Josh Hurd's fault. It's not Jeff Brom's fault. They had no input in this. Here we are, though, playing these guys on short rest, by the way. Friday, September 5th. Now, September 20th, we get a bye week after the first 2 weeks, which I hate. It's dumb. We're going to play Bowling Green. Eddie George, first-year head coach, is coming to town. Now, this is going to be Ag Day. It's going to be Mental Health Awareness Day, and it's Family Weekend. Remember when we lost on Mental Health Awareness Day, like basketball with Kenny Payne? The jokes were flying pretty furiously. We had a great Ag Day last year. I remember last year saying it was my favorite Ag Day of all time. A lot of farmer stuff. Bring the cows out there on the field. Do whatever you got to do. Ag Day is coming September 20th when we play Bowling Green. October 4th versus Virginia. Kids Day. Spirit Day. If you haven't been bringing your spirit to the previous 3 games, you got to bring it for this game. And then it's Extra Yard for Teachers game. If you're a kid or a teacher, this game versus Virginia is the one where you're going to get your flowers. Saturday, October 25th, we're playing Boston College. Homecoming. Sorry, Eagles, you're our homecoming game. Cal, November 8th. Salute to Service Day. We're honoring the troops. And it's also Band Day. I don't know if that's just like band appreciation or if we're just like having local bands play music, but it's Band Day. Friday, November 14th versus Clemson. It just says Friday Night Lights. This says to me, like, we're going to do something big. We just have no idea what the hell we're going to do, right? I'm asking you. And what do you think Friday Night Lights entails? I feel like they had to give, they're giving a theme to every game. And they're like, all right, let's just say Friday Night Lights. If the game winds up becoming like this huge ACC championship showdown, maybe we're going to make it a blackout. Maybe we're going to make it, they don't want to call it a blackout yet. But they're giving themselves
room, probably, yeah.
Exactly. They're giving themselves some wiggle room to make it, because it's going to be the biggest game of the year, ideally. But for now, it's just Friday Night Lights game. Are we bringing in, like, the Buzz Bissinger, the writer of the book, to come talk? Probably not. And then against Kentucky, November 29th, it's Senior Day. It's Season Ticket Member Appreciation Day. Of course, everyone's going to be encouraged to wear red, which is what we do. But those are your theme game announcements. No details. So just make Throwback Night whatever you want to make it. Make For the Ville game against DKU whatever you want to make it.
I'd be surprised if they don't wear the throwback jerseys that night.
I kept waiting for them last year because they made that. Remember that they put out the Jeff Brom throwback jersey from the early 90s, which people love.
They did that to sell.
Yeah, the bigger Cardinal bird. And I just assumed at some point we were going to wear those bad boys. I thought it was going to be the Miami game, and we didn't do it. Now, they've put out, they went ahead and revealed the uniforms last week. And I think to mostly positive reviews. I think that they're great. But they only gave us, 3 different versions? There's no black uniform. I'm assuming, and maybe I'm wrong, that there's at least one alternate out there that we're going to wear at some point this season, right? Because they never show the alternates before we actually...
I feel like they come up with them in like for the week before sometimes.
The one exception was the Murder Birds for that Auburn game back in 2015, where they let us know the whole season, like, we're wearing these for the opener, and people hated them. I think people have grown fond of them over time. They're like the infrareds, where people forget that they hated them initially, and then we went on a run and people loved them. But I'm assuming that we've got at least one uniform that has not been unveiled to the public that we're hoping to bust out, maybe for that Clemson game, maybe on the road when we play Miami, depending on which game is the biggest. Who knows? I mean, Clemson may be like 0-8.
I feel like sometimes they just do matching pant and jerseys for some of those games.
They do,
rather than just doing an alternate.
They'll definitely mix and match where they'll have, we'll rock the all reds for Kentucky, but, one game we may wear like the white pants with
We'll do the all white pants and white jerseys versus Clemson?
Well, probably not, because that'll be a home game.
No, I'm saying last year, didn't we do that?
I think you're right. when we went on the road.
Yeah.
That's kind of like our road go-to, though. So, yeah, they'll mix and match a little bit. But I do think there's going to be one uniform, maybe like a helmet that we haven't seen, that they'll bust out at some point.
Hopefully.
All right, we got to go to a break. When we come back, your hour is up next on the Game Day Men's Health text line. Chime in with whatever we've been talking about today. Your thoughts are welcome at 502-414-1450. We'll get to you after the break. It's the Mike Rutherford Show presented by United Mechanical. 1450 The Big X. Place just went nuts. He gets in there, just starts stunning everybody. I mean, I still, like, I'll stone cold stun my kids constantly. Kick to the groin. Boom. Stunner. Boom. Stunner. Toss me a beer. Chugging it. I love that Jaden was rocking the Stone Cold shirt yesterday. It's fantastic. This is hour number 2 of the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical, 1450 96.1 Big X Sports Radio. We're about to spend some time on the Gameday Men's Health text line. A reminder, Gameday Men's Health, they're redefining men's wellness. No shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, peptides, weight loss, and sexual performance therapy. If you want to find out how Gameday Men's Health is defining a new era in men's health, visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com today. The number is 502-414-1450. Let's get it going. Ooh, I'm looking at the last text from KRC. They're taking shots at the dog. By the way, Text Groove is acting up again. Is your Text Groove okay? Mine's disaster. You have no idea. Roman, I'm begging you to say something here. Is he gone? I don't think he's in there. The last text before we got going here on KRC was, U of L fans do realize that the guy that they're so... Are you back now, Roman? What is happening in the producer room?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. I was going to ask, is your text groove working at all?
It was.
Mine's acting up.
I'm scared to go away from it here.
It's doing the same thing that it was doing yesterday, where like every other message refused to load.
Mine wasn't. It just stopped here. Which one did you get?
So obnoxious. I didn't get to anything because it was just struggling. But the last text on KRC before we came on,
UFL
fans do realize that the guy they're so proud of hiring from UK is the same guy that put the current UK roster together. Crowing about getting the 13th rated recruiter in the SEC appears to be a reach. He's also the guy that like got you to your only winning SEC seasons in 50 years. So he's getting us players. That's all that matters. Dave, the teacher from Jeffersonville. Copium. Heavy doses. Dave, teacher from Jeffersonville. We did end up talking about this already, but the Brian Brom picture on the college football game. Please rate Brian Brom on a scale of 1 to 10. I mean, he's a 1. He's a 1, period. He's a 1 in the game. He's a 1 in real life. Refuse to give Brian any credit. Also,
I think you're great, Brian.
You can love him. That's fine. You can suck up to him. He's mine.
Can't come on the show though. Sorry.
He's every Brom besides Brian is welcome. We're gonna get his son and his daughter and his wife. Ashley's welcome to. Ashley could co-host the show any day she wants to. She's 10 times more entertaining than Brian is. Also says, here's a 10 out of 10 song. Geese Never Misses. Geese Taxes is the name of the song. Was this the group that we never heard of that like Dugan Ryan immediately was like, you guys are idiots for not knowing Geese? I feel like that's every band.
Sounds like that could be something like that.
Every band that comes up on
this
the show.
picture doesn't look very Dugan Ryan-ish, though.
It doesn't. It looks like more like, it looks like Dave. This is the type of music that Dave would listen to. But every time a band comes up that we've never heard of, Dugan's like,
can't believe you guys haven't heard them.
Dude, Parking Spot is legit.
We just saw them last week.
I saw Parking Spot at Red Rocks 3 times. I'm like, well, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that. Podcast Random Thoughts guys here. What his text said, we'll find out. This is so annoying.
Podcast Random Thoughts guy here.
Okay, thank you.
Haha, Roman said putting from the rough. One of the funnier parts in Good Will Hunting.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't read those tweets that way, Mike. Think he just thought it was absurd his son didn't win. Not that he didn't think he didn't play well.
Oh, about Michael Brown's dad?
Yeah. That last one. Yeah. If I'm that punter, I'm asking Stoops for a carry-on, a fake, and a blowout to raise that rating.
I mean, imagine you are like the one player in the college football video game that has a toughness rating of 0. I don't care what position you play. You're like,
gotta let him get a stiff arm off.
Yeah, like let me get out there and do something. Like, let me do some push-ups on the sidelines just to prove get me up to a 2. Come on.
Could totally backfire, but you have to take that chance.
You got to do something. I mean, I'd be crushed.
Only person with a 0, like, that's ridiculous. Did I miss the celebration show for TK getting 1K followers?
Did he?
Did he?
Props to Trev. He's been talking about that for about 5 years. Well done. I mean, imagine you're scrolling the video game and it's like penis size -3. Like, what? Why is this even in the game? This feels like an unnecessary targeted shot right at me. Classroom score. Average GPA, 0.3. Ability to capitalize with the ladies on the weekend, 2. What? Frat house party invitation level, 6.
Beer pong, 0.
Yeah, you don't know anything about my game. Joke telling ability, 3. Hair, -5. Come on. Texan, I need some Roman Big X Big Bets here. Would you hammer the over for the Louisville football win total, which is set at 8.5? Also, can you place a $10 bet for Michael Brown to win the Wooden Award this year? It pays $2,500. Yes, you read that right. $2,500 for a consensus preseason projected lottery pick. You have to like those odds.
So he's plus 25,000.
It went down, though. Like, before the USA thing, I saw someone who was like, I put a $5 bet on Michael to win the Wooden Award, and it was going to pay like $17,000.
I'd say yes. I say he won 10 games with a 9-win roster, and he won 9 games with a 10-win roster, and this roster looks like it can be just as good as last year's.
Now, this is just regular season only.
Regular season only. He's gone 10-9. I think 9 safe.
So he's regular season only. He's gone 9-8.
Oh,
because he's gone. I take it back. He's gone 10-8 because we won 10 games the regular season his first year.
Yeah.
Last year we won 8, and then we won our bowl game.
Bowl game made it 9-3. Oh, okay, you're right. I didn't think about it like that. I still think that, and this is the regular. This is the regular season line too.
Yeah, our schedule's supposed to be.
I think the schedule's a little bit better, a little easier than in last year's. I say hammer it. I mean, when I say hammer it, I don't mean like put your life savings. You should never wager a lot of money on sports unless it's profit that you're betting with, in my opinion. But I say, yeah. I mean, I would. If you look at this, it's hard for me to feel like that we can't win 9 games on this schedule, Mike.
I think the question that you asked yourself, and again, we think we know how challenging the schedule is going to be. We thought last year's schedule was going to be pretty easy, and it wound up being the toughest conference schedule we could have played. And we had Notre Dame on the schedule last year on the road.
Yep.
If you think that this year's team is going to be as good as last year's team was, I think you have to take the over. Because the schedule, I mean, just by forget about the ACC, by the sheer fact that we're playing 4 non-conference games that we're going to be, I think, pretty decided favorites in, whereas last year we thought UK was going to be a little bit better. That game was on the road, and then Notre Dame, who we knew was good, that game was on the road. Like, we should be 1 win better just based on that alone, if we're just as good from top to bottom as we were a year ago. Now, if you think we're going to take a step back, yeah, then that gets a little bit iffy. I would lean towards betting the over. And last year I kept telling people I lean towards betting the under. I thought we'd go 8-4. We went 8-4. This year, as of right now, I feel like we're closer to like being a 9-win team, 10-win team, somewhere around there. If a couple of big question marks get fixed. Now the defense is troubling for sure. Texter says, "Can you oh God, I mean, why do we make the move to Text Groove? I don't know who made that call. I was just one day I just came in here and somebody told me to set up Text Groove.
Can you explain some of the background info that you have related to Abubakar Traore's feelings towards the program? I feel like you put out some really nice words about the fan base at the end of the season. Obviously recognize maybe he wasn't thrilled with his role, but I never got the vibe from him that he wasn't totally bought in."
I think he was totally, like, he was never not playing hard. He was never not fully dedicated. I mean, he did what was asked of him.
I felt like the body language when he gets subbed out in some moments,
he was,
he was not enthusiastic all the time either.
He also posted some stuff on Instagram late in the year. He very clearly was not the biggest fan of the way that he was used by the coaching staff late in the year. Like, he was the only guy that didn't congratulate Pat Kelsey for Coach of the Year. Kind of had some sort of, like, he was vague booking a little bit from back in the day. But, I mean, I think it's relatively straightforward. He started the season as a starter. He began the year, he was in the starting 5 for the first, whatever it was, like 5-7 games before he got hurt. he gets dinged up, and when he comes back, not only does he not get back in the starting lineup, he was basically like the last guy off the bench for us, for a thin team. He was like the 8th guy on an 8-man team, essentially, by the time we got to the end of the year. And there were some games where he barely played at all. And then when he did play late in the season, he was essentially being asked to, like, be our backup center. And, I mean, he was guarding, like, he was guarding 7-footers in the ACC tournament and the NCAA tournament. And I don't think that was the way that he felt like his skill set was going to be the best way to be used. Like I said, like I don't think it was like bleep Louisville. I think he still has very good feelings about the fans. But if you had asked him, all these guys are saying like going to Louisville was the best decision that I ever made in my life. I think if you asked him now if he could have done it over, I think he probably would have gone somewhere else, knowing what he knows now. Just because I think he thought he had more to offer. And I can understand that. Like when you've got a team. There are very few teams at any level that doesn't have at least 1 or 2 guys that are like, I think I should be playing more, right? Like that's just
Definitely.
It's natural.
And I think he did have more to offer, Mike. I think he had every right to feel that way. Once we got the injury bug, and once this team's rotation to the shift where Hadley, Kanai, they're playing in the 4, they're playing in the 5. You're having less any James Scott's minutes. It's makeshift lineups, or non-James Scott's minutes. It's a makeshift lineup. That's what it was always going to be. Everybody had to have a lot of time out there on the floor that wasn't what they were used to. His was just the majority once we hit the injury bug, and that's just tough.
I think it's also, like Kanai probably thought he was going to play more last year than he did, but he was also a freshman. For Traore, this was his last go. Like, I think this was his last year.
Yeah.
And I think that I mean, you saw like the body language on senior day, like everyone's kind of smiling, holding up their jerseys. He did not seem thrilled. Yeah, I think that there was, like, I don't want to make it more than it was. I think he was just like the one guy who at the end of the year was kind of like, I'm not
reaping the benefits of this revival.
Right. Like and like I said, like, anytime you go from a starter at the beginning of the year and then get injured and you're playing like 6 to 8 minutes a game,
and everybody around you's career is seeming like it's on a positive trajectory, and you're feeling like you're not getting to showcase your game, that's tough, I would imagine.
I mean, I'm sure he looked around and was like, look, at the beginning of the year, I'm a starter. Noah Waterman's like our 9th guy. And now Noah's playing way more than I am and not scoring a ton and doing some weird stuff. Like,
the fans love him.
Yeah, well, I don't know about I don't know if that was the case by the end of the year. Okay, can you read the next? Nothing's loading for me now.
Yes.
This is ridiculous.
Everyone is up in arms.
Okay, thank you.
On the CCLCP poll, being taken over by bots, initially by Stanford game, and then by injury bug. This result doesn't matter, so why get upset? Who cares? Everything is a battle for second place. Corey Alexander deserves this in a landslide.
I don't know if Corey's going to win. I think the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee is like the 1 seed. I mean, I think Corey's got a legit case. But I think the Selection Committee is...
It's tough because I do feel like that was maybe the most wrong thing that happened, but... maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I feel like we were better than SMU last year. I feel like we belonged in the playoff, and they don't. They didn't. I don't feel like
that was the one.
The seeding would have changed how good Louisville basketball was going to look in the tournament.
There were calls in the Notre Dame game that drove me crazy. The Miami game, I think, was a very borderline call. The one thing that pissed you off by the Miami call was that it seemed like it was indisputable, and the call on the field was fumble, touchdown, return by us, and then they overturned it.
Yeah.
But the thing that really drove the SMU one was the one that drove me crazy, because once again the call on the field was fumble. The replay seemed to show not just like inconclusive, but conclusive evidence that he was not down, and then they somehow deemed that it was conclusive evidence that he was down because his shin somehow bent like out of his Kevin Ware style, came out of his leg and hit the ground. Like that, and it was,
they take it to the ACC facility in Charlotte, and they even say that this is maybe wrong.
It wasn't even that. Like the ACC, before Jeff Brom could submit, because after every game, coaches will send a couple clips to the league office and say, hey, like, we think this was a bad call. Can you look at this and get back to us? Before Jeff could even do that, the ACC reached out to him, and they were like, hey, our bad. Like, don't call us, we'll call you.
Didn't the broadcast say something, though?
Everybody said something. Everybody was like, this is ridiculous. This is terrible. And that was also like late in the fourth quarter. That was the game-deciding drive. Now, we had a chance to go back there and answer them, But it's a tie game at that point. If we have the ball at our own 20 with whatever it was, 4 minutes to go, we can march down the field, have a concerted drive, and then kick a field goal, and that's it. The game is in our hands at that point. Instead, they score a touchdown. We've got to go back and answer them, and when we don't, that's it. The game's done. Yeah. And even if we had scored a touchdown, the best we can do is overtime, and then we got to beat them there. So, like I said, there were other things. I think we came out not ready to play that game. I think we were still thinking a little bit about the Notre Dame game. I think we thought we were going to blow those guys out, and a lot of that's our fault. Even with that being the case, if that call goes a different direction, that game, without doubt, is entirely different in the fourth quarter. Texas, it seems like other teams are putting out a lot of footage of their practices, and we aren't. Are we trying to hide our weaknesses or our strengths? Release the tapes.
I was thinking about this earlier.
Our teams, you only get 3 hours of practice a week. Our team's putting out that much footage? I guess I haven't seen that much.
I thought we were putting out more last year, though. But I don't know if it was this early in July that we were doing so.
We definitely put out a ton of footage last year. But like you said, I can't remember when that started. If it was like later in July or August or...
They was probably still getting the media team together and stuff by this point.
Yeah. I do remember being like, damn, they're giving us a ton. And we spend an hour breaking down every 15-second clip that was out there. But yeah, we've not gotten a lot. I feel like it's more pictures this year. Today's was just kind of pictures. Texter says, can we ban, this is a little dumper, can we ban Ben Shelton from the Big X for, and then I can't read the rest of it.
Disrespecting Louisville, I saw it earlier, but I didn't see.
I also feel like women's soccer players are always disrespected. Louisville also, cough, Alex Morgan. So Ben Shelton, this just happened to come across my Instagram feed today. It was like an interview from May. So he dates Trinity Rodman, Dennis Rodman's daughter, who now is arguably the best women's soccer player in the country. And they gave him a quiz about her. And to his credit, he knew everything. Knew her goal totals in the NWSL, knew knew the name of her high school coach, knew everything about his girlfriend, which is well done. But he got asked, she wears number 2. And he got asked, do you know why she wears number 2? And he gave this whole thing about how, she was the number 2 draft pick in the NWSL, and she used it to remind herself that, you could, someone's always going to be better than you. You got to keep working harder. Someone's always on top. And he was like, actually, though, if she had been the number 1 pick, she would have gone to Louisville. So it actually ended up being kind of a dub. And the interviewer's like, do you have something against Louisville? And he sort of makes this face. This is why we're Taylor Fritz guys, Roman.
I didn't know this happened.
Yeah. I didn't know until today either. This was 2 months ago. But Ben Shelton hates Louisville. Hates racing Louisville specifically.
I don't like you now, Ben Shelton.
He's on the list. I already didn't like him because my boy in tennis right now is Francis Tiafoe. And he does his go-to celebration when he wins is he flexes the right arm and smacks it, goes out to midcourt. And he played a great match against Ben Shelton last year at the U.S. Open, and Shelton beat him. And Shelton did his signature celebration kind of in his face. Did not love that. Did not like that at all. Now I've got even more reason to go against Ben Shelton. I want to enjoy the fact that we got multiple men in the quarterfinals. Taylor Fritz has already advanced to the semis. I'm not a big Yannick Sinner fan. He's a cheater. But he's the best player in the world right now. Shelton's playing Sinner in the quarters, I guess, tonight.
Tomorrow morning.
Or tomorrow. I guess we'll see it whenever, if you want to wake up super early. I feel like I can't root for him now.
No, I don't like Ben Shelton now. I saw a cool interview today, or a cool post-match interview or something from him today that...
I don't like him.
I'm don't like my opinion on him now.
Yeah, he's playing Sinner. He's probably going to lose anyway. Sinner Djokovic probably going to be the other semifinal, and then Fritz is playing Alcaraz. But we're a pro-Taylor Fritz show now. He's our American tennis hope when it comes to Wimbledon. Let's take a break. When we come back, more from you guys. Game Day Men's Health Text Line, 502-414-1450. Keep it locked right here. It's the Mike Rutherford Show presented by United Mechanical, 1450 The Big X. songs that I can no longer hear without thinking of a specific movie. And the movies blow. Are there songs like that for you? I know you're not a big movie guy, but like songs that you've seen on like a TV show or like a movie, and now anytime you hear them, your mind instantly goes to that scene.
I have a couple of that.
Okay.
I think like that. Yeah.
Like I mean, I clearly like knew about that song before the movie Blow came out, but now every time I hear it, it's all I think about is that montage.
I'm trying to think of one.
From Blow. It's a good song.
Definitely some.
I enjoy it. Welcome back in. It's the Mike Rutherford Show, July 8th version here on 1450 and 96.1 Big X Sports Radio. We're brought to you by our fine friends over at United Mechanical. We also are we're helped out by our fine friends. They sponsor the phone line. Call your law firm. Call your law firm hotline. We have not used it in a couple of weeks. We'll be getting back to that hopefully soon as we start previewing some college football stuff. But if you have been injured in an accident or if you've been injured on the job, call your law firm today at 502-736-8141. They call your law firm. They get the best results of any injury law firm in the city. A big part of that is because every attorney over there spent years working for the insurance companies. They've got their playbook. They know what they do to make sure that they don't pull the tricks that so many other firms are going to fall victim to. And then once they get you the money for your recovery, they're going to make sure that you keep that money, which is why their attorney fees start at just 25%. Visit them online for more information at collierlawfirm.com, COLYER lawfirm.com, or again, call them directly at 502-736-8141. Someone on the Gameday Men's Health text line, Roman, sent in a link to a YouTube video that is How to Break 100, the Ultimate Guide. It's a 47-minute long video. I don't know if this is a joke, because the still frame that starts the video is this guy wearing kind of a wacky outfit, and on the whiteboard it says, change par, don't keep count, adjust expectations, adjust GIR, greens and regulation, and then adjust strategy. I don't know if you actually want to watch this video, but if there's genuine help here, maybe you should spend 47 minutes giving this bad boy a view tonight.
I'll give this a watch.
Pre-bed viewing.
I don't like the don't keep count.
Maybe that's how you get started. Would you have felt better about yourself if you didn't keep count on Thursday?
No.
No? I like keeping count. I enjoy it. And there have been rounds in the past where I've been like, all right,
I keep count of everything, Mike.
I'm that way too.
I had 8 tops. Like, that's terrible.
Yeah. We'll get better. Got to work. You always remember that first round. And in 2 years from now, when you're shooting 75, when we make the trip up to French Lick, go to the Donald Ross course, you'll say, remember that 70 I shot at Crescent Hill on 9?
Look how far hole in one.
Look at now I'm hitting hole. I mean, you probably will hit a hole in one before I do. That's the way that it works. Like I spent my whole life wanting to hit a hole in one. I can't wait for like 2 months from now when you're hitting a hole in one at Crescent. You're like calling me, like holding the ball. I'm like, I think I'd have to kick you off the show.
Hit my driver up the hill.
Yeah, you hit the driver on the 131-yard par 3. It hit off a tree and went in the hole. I think I'd have to. I can't do the show with you anymore. I'm gonna have to bring somebody in. It's Matt's job now. He's gonna have to take over. Game Day Men's Health text line is 502-414-1450. Before we get back to you guys, we've got, speaking of golf, professional golf, Roman, in the city of Louisville this week. Are you ready for this?
I heard about this.
The ISCO Championship. Remember we did the remote at Salsaritas a couple months ago. The guy who owns that Salsaritas is like the head of the ISCO Championship that they're putting on at Hurstbourne Country Club this year. A lot of folks behind the scenes put in a lot of work to get this tournament to Hurstbourne. I know Eric Wood's very involved over there. Our guy Joey Wagner's very involved over there. And they're very excited about the field that they've been able to put together. This is an official PGA event. Now, this tournament previously, I think, had been in Lexington. And it's always, these 2 weeks on the PGA Tour are kind of awkward because the big focus for golf is across the pond for the Open Championship, the British Open. And I think the week before, they always play the Scottish Open. So the biggest names tend to go over there, get a little links golf practice this week at the Scottish Open, and then play in the British Open next week. So the field is always, it's kind of the best of the golfers that did not qualify for the British Open, but you've still got some big-time names. And one of the cool things about this week is you've got 5 players in this tournament who all went to St. X High School, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
And then if you add Justin Thomas in, who's playing across the pond this weekend. You've got 6 golfers that are playing in official professional golf events at the highest level, who all went to St. X. As a Trinity man, hurts my soul a little bit, but they've always been the superior golf program. I guess until recently. I think Trinity won state a few years ago. But St. X was kind of known for golf when I was growing up. And best of luck to all those guys. Got to be an exciting moment for them playing in a PGA Tour event at Hurstbourne Country Club in front of what I assume will be some solid home fans showing up for them. But that's going down. The practice round started today. It'll obviously be Thursday through Sunday out there at Hurstbourne Country Club. I've played there before, which is pretty cool. It's kind of hard for me to envision that being a PGA Tour course, but I'm told they did a ton of work on it, that the fairways are flush. They're feeling pretty good about this, and hopefully it'll be a great week for everybody out there. But make it out there. Golf tournaments are a lot of fun, even if you're not big into golf. It's a great social time, a lot of drinks. They've got some hospitality tents set up. You'll enjoy yourself.
Where can I go play 9 tonight?
It's a hard left turn, but I mean, you can try to go to like I said. I think Crescent Hill has like leagues now. I don't know if Cherokee. We used to always play Twilight Nines at Cherokee.
That sounds like my vibe.
When I was like working at the law firm and Mary was living over there in the Highlands, I would always go over there with a couple buddies and play some Twilight Nines at Cherokee. I don't know if they still do that. Sleepy Hollow is another option for 9-hole course. Seneca, maybe you can go hop over there, see if you can get on for 9, pair up with somebody. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, it is. I'll look into it.
Okay. Game Day Men's Health Text line again, 502-414-1450. Texture says, what do you think about your boy Mark Ennis saying that Clay Travis is going to hell? What a text. I mean, look, if hell exists.
You got a vacuum here, Mike.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if hell exists, then and the reasons for being sent there are exactly what they say in the Bible or basically any form of religion. We're all going to hell. Like, I don't think anybody listening to the show is going to make it. If that's the, every now and then, like, if we'll have like kids going crazy and Mary's like, she's like, I feel terrible not going to church. I'm like, if perfect attendance is going to keep us from going to heaven, like, we've done worse stuff. like we've got no hope already. So if there is a hell, I mean, we're all probably going. But I did love what Clay Travis responded by taking a shot at his hairline. I'm just seeing this now.
I don't like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I think Clay Travis is a loser. And I don't say this as like he was a loser before he started doing the political thing. He's always been a loser. Texas Roman, I know you have some golf goals this year. Have you thought about buying a small turf mat and a net so you can practice your swing at your house? It would save a lot of money versus the driving range, and you have a place to hit that's way more convenient.
I have. I keep getting I didn't know they existed until I kept getting the net. I didn't realize there's like a net you could buy that's like a safe way to keep the balls from to just use one ball over and over. And I keep getting these TikTok ads now, I guess, because I've looked up golf stuff. The turf, I had been thinking about it because I've been just messing up grass wherever I've got my clubs.
I used to have one of those big nets for like when I was playing baseball growing up. And then as I got older, I transitioned into like a golf net that I would hit into. And those things are dangerous, though, because if you shank one, you're putting a big hole in your wall. Or if you're hitting outside, you run the risk of just drilling somebody's house. Speaking of targeted ads, I had the most insane targeted ad today. I've talked about this several. As I've gotten older, the targeted ads become more depressing, and I don't know if it's because like my phone is picking up on pictures of me. Like I'll admit, I've said it before. Triglycerides are high. We established that. I need to lose like 20 pounds. This is the most that I've ever weighed. It's the most out of shape that I've ever been in. I don't know how this has happened. I'm not eating terribly, but I guess I'm not active enough, and I could eat a little bit better. I'm also 40 now. It happens. So I keep getting all these ads on like Instagram, Twitter, wherever, that are like, if you're looking for quick ways to lose belly fat, like, do this, this, and this. And yeah, it is what it is at this point. I'm just kind of scrolling through it. I keep seeing like some variation of like, hey, just like this 10-minute exercise will have you ripped. So today, I guess to get more attention, because I just keep scrolling past them, My kids are very into Lilo and Stitch right now.
Mm-hmm.
They went and saw the live action movie at the theater, especially John. Like everything they do, like they're watching like the old Lilo and Stitch cartoon. We listen to a Hawaiian roller coaster ride in the car approximately 75 times a day. And so like I'm scrolling through Instagram today and I get this target. This is what it says. We are looking for big guys over 220 pounds. It's not me yet, thankfully, who haven't exercised in years and want to complete a body transformation with our calisthenics workout plan by July 1st. Thank yourself. Free challenge. It's like, that's fine. And it's like a picture of like a fat guy who turns into a muscly guy. The surrounding, the border of this is just all pictures of Stitch. Has nothing to do whatsoever. Like, this is the lengths that they're going to now to suck me in. You've got Stitch on this weight loss. I said this to Mary, and I was like, this is ridiculous. I was like, Stitch has nothing to do with it. And she's like, I'm literally laughing out loud. These are the lengths that they're going to, Roman, to try to make me feel, to fat shame me into buying their workout product.
I don't even want to know what access they've got to the information that
they got everything.
Yeah,
this is why people are like, I don't have TikTok, but people are like, oh, I'm terrified of signing up for TikTok. I don't want my info. Like, it's all already out there. Everything about you is out there. Like, anytime someone will make a passing comment where I don't even think I have my phone on me, and I'll have a targeted ad about it 45 minutes later. It's scary times out there. Do you see also that they shut down this new AI system? They found it trying to replicate itself, and so they were they initiated the shutdown protocol, and it overrode it.
No,
I'm telling you, man. I don't know why we're doing this. No idea why we think this is a good idea.
I did hear that Grok is starting to hate Elon Musk. Is that a thing?
Well, and then they reprogrammed him to be less woke. Because anytime somebody asks something to Grok, they were like, "Hey, is this true?" And it's he had very some would say truthful. People, other side would say anti-conservative responses. And so they reprogrammed him to be less woke. So now it's Elon Musk, and he's talking in the first person about Elon Musk. He's like, well, I did know Jeffrey Epstein. I did not go. I'm like, okay, well, this seems just even more strange.
That's weird.
These are wild times. Texas Ross Dellinger did an interview recently with Gramlich and McLean. He said the football Super League isn't imminent, but it will continue to get more realistic over time for TV deal bargaining and the next big wave of realignment around 2030. Would the Super Football League effectively kill Louisville football? I don't know that we have a great chance of getting in unless it's the top 50, 60 Power 4 schools or just the entirety of the Power Conference schools breaking away entirely from everyone else. Sorry for the doomsday text. I'm so excited for football this year, but I saw that interview and it bummed me out. I hope you tell me that I'm way wrong. I like that Josh Hurd has said he's clearly been proactive about this. He's not in denial that there is the possibility when the new renegotiated deal that the ACC has, basically bowing down to Florida State and Clemson, it opens the door for a lot of schools to leave in 2030. We're safe for the time being. We've got 4 seasons where we don't really need to worry about this. But Josh, he's not being we'll cross that bridge when we get there. He's openly saying you've got to be proactive. And I've had conversations with other officials from other leagues, and he has said, I don't know what he's heard, but he feels confident that we would have a solid landing spot. The implication has always been, every time that he said something like this, that he's got kind of a handshake or a wink, whatever type deal with somebody at the Big 12. That if all things fall apart, the world's crumbling, Louisville will be one of those schools that gets picked up by the Big 12. So I think we'll always have a seat at the table. Now, the seat might be way further away from the head than we would like, but as long as we have a shot, I think Louisville football should be okay. Basketball will always be okay. Football, I think, should be okay, even if the worst happens in 2030 and Florida State and Clemson and North Carolina, these schools bolt for the SEC and the Big Ten. The big question is going to be whether or not the SEC and the Big Ten want to expand. Because Sankey's come out a number of times and been like, we're good. Why would we want to change anything right now? Florida State's been a kind of a crappy member of the ACC recently. Why would we want to bring that into the SEC? So if they say, what value do we have in expanding to 24, it's going to be just one of the deals, who moves first. I think the SEC will only expand if they feel like the Big Ten's going to, and they want to beat them to the punch of landing those big schools, and vice versa for the Big Ten. So there's no guarantee that the world is going to fall apart in 2030, but if it does, I think that we'll have a landing spot in the Big 12. Conference realignment sucks. It just sucks. It's terrible. No fun whatsoever. Texas, is it just me, or has Peyton Siva been injured in the last 2 TBTs with groin upper leg issues? We cannot win with him at point guard and healthy. Without him at point guard and healthy, I disagree with that. I'm no former D1 athlete, but he and I are the same age, and he has access to the world's best trainers in healthcare. Is that going to be an issue again this summer? I mean, he barely played last year, but I don't think I think it's more that he's getting up there in age. I mean, David Johnson's the guy who I think is going to run the point. He was our best player last year in the TBT, and I think that he will be like the starting point guard again this year. Like I don't think we'll have. I don't think Peyton, like the team goes as Peyton goes. I think it kind of goes as the younger guys go.
2 years ago, they were pretty heavily relying upon Siva and Russ, but you added other bodies this year.
By the way, David Johnson, he gave the fire emoji to the video on Instagram of you whiffing on the golf course.
He's got his basketball camp coming up again.
Are you going to MC it again?
July 26th. I'll be there. MCing it.
Boom. Camp DJ.
Sign your kid up.
Let's go. Texas Lazard guy here. Big Dog is eating. That golf ragdolling video that went viral is the most satisfying fight video I've ever seen. Bang, bang, bang. I saw this yesterday, and it was one of those where I knew right away. I was like, this is going to be a big deal. Like, have you seen this video of the golf fight?
No.
Oh, my God. It is probably I don't know where these guys, they have like kind of like an Irish, like a Welsh accent. I'm not exactly sure where they're from, but there's this, the longer video came out today. And it seems like they're upset with this group in front of them for like playing super, super slow. And so they're having this confrontation on a tee box. And the two guys that are playing in front of them are very clearly like heavily drunk. And there's this guy who's got like a tattooed sleeve. I'm a pretty big guy. And he's like, he's going nuts. And he's like, all right, mother, bleep. Like, if you want to go, let's bleep and go. Like, let's go. And the dude's like, I'm going to throw you in that pond if you come at me. And you can't really see who the other guy is at this point in time. But the guy who's going nuts, you're like, damn, this guy looks pretty big. Like, this guy, he's talking a big game, but he might be able to back it up. And eventually he kind of charges at this other guy that he's been going crazy on and like yelling and saying all this. And the dude is huge that he charges at. And the guy just takes him like hockey style, grabs the shirt, chucks him into the pond that's behind the hole. And the guy gets out. And he's like he's clearly like a little bit embarrassed, but like he's still going at it. So he goes after the guy again. Guy cracks him a couple times, goes down, comes at him again. The guy hits him like 3 times, and while he's doing it, says bang, bang, bang as he's hitting him. And then the guy, he goes down pretty hard, and then he gets up again and comes at him, and the guy's like trying to he's like you just need to go, let go. And the dude picks him up and throws him like you would throw a rag doll. Like it's absolutely like throwing like a doll. He goes like 15 feet in the air. And finally, like, they end up leaving. Apparently, so they're Canadians. And the guy who ragdolled him is a former NHL player, is what I'm told. Definitely showed. That was the initial reaction a lot of people had.
No, he just tossed him.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
The toss is bad.
And he gets right back up again.
He does. The craziest thing in the extended version is, like, the guys, like, still refuse to leave. They're like, just leave him alone. They're like, get out of here. Like, what are you waving? Like, leave. Go. It is a very, very satisfying video. Like, it's rare that you have one where you're like, I hope this guy just gets.
You guys can't even stand and tee your ball up. They were really drunk.
Very drunk. Yeah, it's bad. And thankfully, and the guy, he's like trying, like, not. He tells him, one of his friends also is narrating the whole thing. When he gets thrown in the pond, he's like, not a great start for you. and then as he's getting hit for like the 3rd time, the guy, one of the guy's friends is like, this isn't going well for you. Like, this, like, in the background. It's an incredible video. It is one of those rare, like, internet videos that I feel like I saw very early on, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a big deal. And now everybody today has been talking about it. So they're Canadian.
The way he's grabbing him before he punches him is like a cartoon.
Oh, yeah. It's bad. He's narrating. You can't hear the best part, which is him saying.
I didn't even listen to it.
He's saying bang every time he hits him. He's like, bang, bang. It's unbelievable. I'm not a big like fight video guy, but that one is it's wholly satisfying, no question about it. So they're Canadian. They have like the accent doesn't sound Canadian. I don't know, maybe French Canadian. Sean Moth weighs in. He's my go-to on all stuff. Nick Tarnasky is the guy's name.
The golfer?
No, who played in the NHL.
Okay.
I mean, imagine picking a fight when you're drunk on a golf course and picking it with what turns out to be a former NHL enforcer. That'd be bad. It'd be a terrible, terrible day. Chris the plumber said, I told you all not to worry about Frew. I took care of it. Chris was on it.
Good text.
He hit up his boy. He texted DJT. Was like, hey, need you to make an exception here. Texture says, I'm starting to worry that everybody is discounting UK and they will overperform relative to our preseason expectations.
Be overconfident in their ability to surpass his expectation, his current expectation.
Right. He's not out there predicting any wins.
I get that.
He's saying the closer you get to the season, the more like irrational you get.
He's a realistic guy, though. He knows they're not winning 88 games, Mike.
They're not winning 8 games. They're not. There's zero chance that Kentucky wins 8 games this year. It sounds like and this is the Big X version of the Matt Jones video that everybody keeps sharing every now and then, where he's like, it's not crazy that we can make the playoff, and he's like breaking down this, the schedule, where he's like,
Louisville should be a win there.
Yeah, like this should be a win, that should be against all these teams that they eventually lose to in the season, and yeah, like that one got thrown in his face. Like this will be one that I think we have to play if Kentucky goes out there and does go like 3-9 this year or 4-8. They're not winning 8 games.
I don't think people are overlooking them. I do think there's going to be the one upset, Mike. Something in me thinks that there can be an upset, that they may have one. That could happen, and that could still only mean 3 wins, right? So, if you look at their schedule, who are they going to beat? What teams are they going to beat? I don't see them winning 4 games on there, really. I think it's debatable, the fourth, whoever you would choose as that 4th win. So, it's easy for a lot of people talking about them who feel this way about their schedule to sound like that, I think.
Usually, like, I do the thing where, especially with rivals, where I'm like, I'm irrationally nervous. I'm like, you never know, like, they could do. I've got no fear of Kentucky this year, as far as them being a good. I have fear going into the game because it's a rivalry game. Anything can happen in a rivalry.
Yeah, like fear we won't dominate them like we should.
I've got no fear that they're like going to be good this year. There's no part of their roster that says that they're going to be markedly better than they were a year ago. And you know how I know that they're like looking for any sort of reason right now? I mean, you know what the fan base is doing right now. We're talking about Cutter. Have you seen the pivot that's already happening? Where like they're going back and like they're finding that video of him playing against Texas.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's got it in him. You can't tell me that this kid can't play.
He's got a year under his belt now.
You know he's a local boy.
Threw for 8,000 his senior year.
I'll tell you what, his uncle was even better than he was.
I knew him.
His uncle stayed off the drugs. He would have been all SEC first team, no question.
Auburn's the 4th team that they could potentially beat, I think, on the schedule, Mike. And Auburn's, they brought, like, aren't they pretty high in the transfer portal ranking? Like,
Auburn's the same team every year. They're either, like, once every 6 years, they're just incredibly good. Like, they're national title good. And then every other year, they stink.
They got 6 4-star transfer portal commits.
That'll do it. I mean, it's the SEC. Everybody is. I hear what you're saying. Like, I think they could absolutely go out. I mean, how did they beat Ole Miss last year on the road?
Yeah, that's why I think that. Like,
they're one SEC win.
I can give you the Auburn game, maybe. And that'd be 4 wins.
I just, like, they still got some dudes in the trenches from the old, like, they've recruited well in the trenches historically. They've still got some talent there. Like, I just don't think they've got the specialty players to keep up with the best teams on their schedule. Like, is this what's the name of their quarterback, the kid from Auburn who's played football for 17 years and never been good, that they think is going to be good this year? Like, I don't even, unless he is miraculously good, Zach Calzada, whatever, like the new quarterback he's the new Brock Vandegrift. Unless he is just the sleeping giant, there's nothing on that roster that scares you. Texture says, Roman's confidence shows how new of a Louisville fan he truly is. Also says, Happy Fru's Day. Pat Kelsey's now defeated ice.
I know.
Big win.
I don't think I'm overly confident. I'm just confident that it's not going to be bad again. It's been enough bad, don't you think, Mike? Not very many schools go through that much bad in a.
You know when I first started thinking that? 2015. When I was like, man, we just had it so rough here. This is terrible luck. And then I thought at 2016, can't get any worse. 2017. It just kept happening. We had a really rough go of it. And it's hard to, I think we all want to believe that we're out of that tunnel, out from underneath that dark cloud. We won't know it for sure until we have a few years. We're like, we're going deep in the NCAA tournament. We're consistently good. I mean, we need, like last year was incredible. Last year was fantastic. We still haven't won an NCAA tournament game since 2017, which is an insane thing to say out loud. If we don't win at least at least one NCAA tournament game this year, the fan base will go right back into the woe is me mentality, regardless of how well we play this year. If we have like a UK late year Calipari type season, let's say we're a 2 seed, we get beat by a 15, the fan base will immediately go back to like nothing good will ever happen to us again. Like Kelsey knows all of this. Kelsey knows that last year he was hailed as a conquering hero because he simply gave us a normal season of Louisville basketball, and now he also knows that no longer is good enough. The bar has been raised. We've got a roster that everybody looks at and says, this could be a Final Four team. If you take that roster and you underachieve in year 2, all of that, like, revival, like people aren't going to say, like, fire Pat Kelsey or anything like that. But people will be like, can he really do it here? Because the goal is not just to have a guy who gets you to the NCAA tournament consistently. The goal is to have a guy who is competing for championships regularly. We are a top 7 program in the history of the sport. We expect top 7 results on a consistent basis. And that's the new bar for Pat Kelsey. So right now, everything's great. We got to go out there and see it once we get to the actual season. Texas Mission Barbecue Josh here. What's up? What's up, Josh? By the way, ate the Mission Barbecue. The brisket was fantastic.
It was amazing.
So good. He says the obvious nickname for Sonana Fru is Fruitang Clan. Ain't nothing to mess with. I somehow had not thought of that. I like Fruitang Clan.
I like Fruitang.
I also like the Fru and Zoo combination. Zoo and Fru, whatever order you want to do it in. I like that for our European tandem. Big Dumper says, hey, Mike and Roman. Big Dumper here. Very disappointed to hear that nobody will carry the torch for Noah Waterman by wearing the number 93 this season. I assume that Pat Kelsey and staff will reserve that number only for someone deemed worthy to follow in Noah's footsteps. I could see Kanai donning 93 if he continues his development, decides to stay for his junior year, and steps into a leadership role. That's a lot of ifs, but it will take a special player to do the number proud. It could be our version of Syracuse football's number 44 with Noah being our Jim Brown. I love the Waterman. Dumper out. That's a great text.
It is.
I want a new 93. If we get Fortune Anselm eBay, Frank's little brother, he's got to be 93.
That'd be a good 93 candidate.
It'd be a fantastic 93. Like 93 goes to like the Vibes guy. I'm good with it. Let's take a break. When we come back, it'll be the start of the final hour of the show. We've got a couple other things to talk about that we've not gotten to yet. Lots of text on the Game Day Men's Health text line still to get to. Keep it locked right here. The Mike Rutherford Show will roll on next here on 1450 and 96.1 Big X Sports Radio. Mechanical, 1450-96.1, Big X Sports Radio, United Mechanical, Kentuckiana Business's winning choice for reliable HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and refrigeration services. Call United Mechanical at 502-339-1133 or visit them online at unitedmechanicalinc.com. Roman Kelly in the house. Give him a follow on Twitter at RomyBean. We've got still some stuff to get to that we have not talked about yet. Lots of text to get to on the Game Day Men's Health text line as well. But we've talked a little football recruiting today. A lot of big dog thoughts. We've got another recruiting little nugget for you. Roman, are you ready for this?
Ooh, I didn't see anything.
So Louisville's done a good job at, the first 3 years now of Brahms roster building. We've unfortunately had to go out there and do a lot of portal plug and play in the secondary. We had Quincy Riley, thankfully, but a lot of our safeties, a lot of our corners have been guys that we've brought in from other programs, including, like 3 of our secondary players from last year. So they've clearly made a concerted effort to land some big-level secondary players this season. Jaden Broadnax is a big-time addition, 4-star player right there. The kid we landed yesterday, Jaden McGregory, safety from Iowa, 4-star prospect, big-time get for the Cards. There may be another one coming on Friday.
Ooh.
Louisville's picked up a crystal ball prediction for Devontae Anderson, who's ranked as the number 70 cornerback in this class. Consensus 3-star prospect, but the offer sheet is very, very good. He's out of Winter Garden, Florida. Goes to West Orange High School in Florida. He's announcing his commitment on Friday. He has scholarship offers from Miami, from Auburn, from Maryland, from Rutgers, from us, obviously. UCF has offered him. Cincinnati and Scott Satterfield has offered him. Colorado and Deion Sanders have offered him. Florida has offered him. Michigan State has offered him. Purdue, Pittsburgh, lots of Group of 5 schools. West Virginia, Wisconsin. Sounds like he may be a Cardinal. There's a 6'1", 185. He's a standard cornerback, not a safety cornerback hybrid. Like I said, ranked as the number 117 player overall in the state of Florida. Would be another nice addition. This would be 3 big-time secondary prospects in this 2026 class. You can kind of see...
With that new modern build, too, Mike.
For sure.
Not the short guys.
And, it's not to say that we're just doing this in the 26 class. Last year, 2 of our highest-rated players in the incoming recruiting class were Antonio Harris and Micah Rice. So they clearly want to develop their own secondary players moving forward. Having 3 high 4-star prospects and 1 3-star prospect would go a long way towards accomplishing that. So we'll keep an eye out for Devontae Anderson and his commitment on Friday, but there are a number of crystal ball predictions that now have been rolling in just over the last couple of hours that believe he's going to go ahead and pick the Louisville hat at his press conference. That's exciting.
That is exciting.
He's a 2-way player as a junior last season, played both wide receiver and cornerback, had 38 tackles, 10 pass breakups, and 3 INTs on defense, caught 26 passes for 447 yards and 3 touchdowns in 13 games, helped West Orange go 10-3 and reach the regional finals of Florida's 7A playoffs. So, solid track record. Look, if you can play in Florida,
on both sides of the ball,
we've established this over the last couple of decades. If you can play in Florida at a high level, you can play at Louisville at a high level. I think that we feel pretty good about this. Non-sports news. Did you see that we had a verdict in the Brooks Houck trial?
No.
For the Crystal Rogers murder. Brooks Houck and his Joseph Lawson, his co-defendant, both found guilty.
Good.
After deliberating for about 4 hours on Tuesday, jury in Warren County found Brooks Houck and Joseph Lawson guilty in the 2015 murder of Crystal Rogers, recommended the maximum prison sentences. It was a jury of 6 men and 6 women. They found Houck guilty of murder, principal or accomplice to the crime, and complicity, tampering with physical evidence. His co-defendant Lawson was charged with conspiracy to commit murder and tampering with physical evidence. He was found guilty on both charges as well. His father, Steve Lawson, was the guy who was convicted in the first trial and got sentenced to 17 years back in May. This has been going on for, a decade now. Nice that they finally got at least a little bit of closure here. The Bardstown stuff is wild. You had
really sad and messed up.
It was, it started with the trooper who was basically ambushed, and then Crystal Rogers gets killed. Her father gets killed, and they also had the other case that's never been solved is the brutal murder of the mom and the daughter.
Yep.
Which is
in the house, right?
Yeah, in the house. And like I've said this before, we drive to Springfield a lot because my wife's from there. Her family still lives there. And, like, the house is not – it's right there on the main drive. Like you take that – like, it's like the first time Mary pointed out to me, it's like, oh, my God. Like, it's there's a lot of traffic. It's on a main street. Like, it's right there in Bardstown. It's not hard to find. The fact that somebody would carry out a murder in broad daylight at a house that is that visible is just insane to me. And I think there's a lot of talk about, was that one kind of a one-off, not related to the other ones? And, down there in central Kentucky, everybody has a theory about what's going on. But from the beginning, I think everybody kind of thought that this was the case. This is exactly what happened. The issue was they could never find the body. But, I mean, when Brooks Houck is going and talking to people about, like, hey, I heard that, like, this person was murdered, how did they do it, and then kind of follows the exact same blueprint that he was given, it's sort of a giveaway. So I think that justice was served there. At least Crystal's mom, who's been through a ton, losing both her daughter and her husband, can find a little bit of peace. So that's good news. The other thing that happened today that was not sports related that I saw, there's a sinkhole.
I saw this
on 7th Street. It's right in front of
I saw this Louisville sinking.
It's right in front of Thoroughbred Lounge, which, if you've never been there, they always have like funny signs outside, funny messages on their sign. But there's a giant sinkhole right outside of Thoroughbred Lounge. I don't love this. I feel like this is a sign of the end times.
It is. It's underworld stuff right there.
If the lounge isn't safe, what hope is there for the rest of the?
You've been in there?
I've never been there. Hand up. Like, I admit it if I had. I'm not going to say that I've never visited I went to Trixie's back in the day when I was in high school. A lot. It was one of the first places that, like.
That's the first.
What, finish your sentence.
First and only.
First and only?
First and only, Mike.
I went to, I think we did Deja Vu back in the day, too. But it was like
It burned down, I think.
I think it did, too. But Trixie's was like the place where, like, the cool seniors on the baseball team, like, kind of took me and a couple of the other younger guys under their wings. And on spring break, like, went to when we were like 16. It was an experience. And then, like, when we became seniors in high school, like, I was taking they were like, you look like you've been here before. It's like, I have. I know how to do this. I know how to handle this. You've got to buy a Diet Coke from them when they come by. It was, yeah, that was, like, then you get a little bit older and you're like, all right, yeah, they don't really like you. They saw, like, a bunch of, like, 17, 18-year-old kids coming in. They're like, thank God you guys are here. Like, everyone else has been such losers. I'm like, hey, when you're 16, 17, you're like, oh, my God. This is the greatest night of my entire life.
Then you look around and you realize you don't belong in there.
Yeah, you look around and you're like, if I'm this person in 20 years, just go ahead and off me. There were some interesting characters there back in the day. But I've never made a trip inside the Thoroughbred Lounge. But I've always enjoyed their messages on the sign outside. Don't want to see them sink into the ground. Don't want to see anybody sink into the ground. But it's a terrifying image. Sinkholes are terrifying. Have you ever thought about, like, once every couple of years you hear a story about, like, a house that just, like, you're sitting in your house, chilling, watching TV, boom, you just drop like 500 feet in the ground. It's terrible.
Like you live on a hill, and your whole neighborhood just starts sliding down the hill.
The gym teacher at my kid's preschool, shout out to Miss Kiki, and her husband.
The landslide stuff is insane to me.
Her husband, former U of L football player. We had all the bad flooding, like, their house was like sliding. A couple of the other houses, like, their neighbors had to evacuate.
That's insane.
Yeah. They still, like, they've been living there. It's still crazy to me. They're living on the slide. Would not like it. They've been
one of like it at all. I mean, every time it rains, I'd be paranoid.
Yeah. Shout out to my guy Blake Ramsey, though. Yeah, he was a U of L football extraordinaire. Now he's living on a house that's sliding into the Ohio. Gameday Men's Health text line 502-414-1450 is the number to weigh in. We've got a lot of text to get to. Text line's been popping today. We got to make sure that you're all heard. Let's go ahead and hop to you. Texter says, I can't believe you've not played the glass-breaking Stone Cold Steve Austin music for a segment transition yet. I think you saw that text. You answered the call.
Got it for you. I want to wait till he talked about it, at least.
It was wonderful. It worked perfectly. Texas, the bad thing that happened this past season was injuries in the NCAA giving us a damn 8 seed. I mean, the replay officials, too. To me, those are the big three.
The replays are worse to me than the seeding, Mike, because of what?
I'm not saying the order. I'm just saying those are the big three.
What's worse to you? I get it's. I mean this in the sake of a fan, not like
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying.
because obviously we didn't get wronged. We did that to ourselves on the football side. Losing the Stanford game, but if you compare that with
They're the same in a lot of ways. In that
the ref stuff mattered so much because of the Stanford game, particularly.
the ref stuff mattered a lot, but we also could have taken matters into our own hands, right?
Yeah.
Like we still could have won all 3 of those games. Those were 3 one-possession games where we had chances to make up for the bad calls that went against us. I think you could say the same thing about the selection committee. Everybody, it wasn't just us. Like everyone's like, man, Louisville got screwed. Should have been a 5 or a 6 seed, 7 at the worst. They got an 8, and they got a bad draw having to play Creighton. We still could have won the game.
That's what I'm saying. Does the performance against Creighton change anything for you? Because for me, it fully eliminates the issue. If that was a close game or a game winner, or it came down, it was close the entire, and it came down to the end, and then fouled and they go up and they win by 8, whatever it may be, or something like that, or just a close the entirety of it, or something like that, where it felt like, gosh, we wouldn't have had to play them that earlier. We could have got something more deserving. A team we earned the right to play more so than a team like Creighton. The fact we got worked, Mike, is like,
yeah, it almost like diminishes the impact. I mean, the other part is even if we'd won the Creighton game, it's hard for me to envision a scenario where we would have beaten Auburn. They were a terrible matchup for us, and they were just really good. So,
not saying we could have won a national championship in football,
but even if we'd beaten Creighton, I think we still would have been pissed off at the committee for maybe more pissed off for having to play Auburn in the second round. The big thing, though, about the committee that made it so uncool to me, it wasn't just that we got beat in a game that it felt like we shouldn't have played. They took away that Selection Sunday moment for us. Like, that was my big thing, was that this was supposed to be this gigantic release, this cathartic moment. We've waited 6 years to hear our names called on Selection Sunday again. Let's celebrate. Let's go crazy. Let's start breaking down our opponent. And it happens like 10 seconds into the show, and we're all pissed off about it. Like, it ruined Selection Sunday for us, which was supposed to be this just gigantic moment 6 years in the making. That was incredibly uncool. And then they refused to justify it. Like, every justification they threw out had absolutely nothing to back it up. Like, every number that you pulled out there said, like, we should have been, at the very least, like a 5 or a 60. Like, we should have been in Clemson's spot, or we should have been in Memphis' spot.
Yeah.
Like, it became more and more frustrating as the day went on. So, it wasn't just about the fact that it led to us. Like, we could have been a 5 seed and lost in the first round, too. But it ruined the whole day. Like, I felt like Selection Sunday was not this magical event that I thought it was going to be. Texas says, if you could go back with your current skill level, what high school sport besides golf do you think you'd be best at? Well, I didn't play golf in high school. I see what you're saying. I mean, like, I don't think I'm good enough at golf to, like, make the Trinity team right now. So, if I could go back with my current skill level, what high schools? I mean, I'd probably still say baseball.
I mean, yeah, that'd be the only thing I'd be serviceable at. Like,
I mean, do you think you could make a
varsity basketball team right now?
Do you think you could make a varsity any sport in high school at the high school level? That's a cut sport, like not like a
not like an elite team. That's the thing.
No,
like,
I don't think I could either.
Physically, obviously, I'd be. High school soccer is just different. It's
now, what high school can we offend here? Like I mean, you could play for Wagner right now. You could
probably.
Yeah, I mean, I think I could play for Wagner right now. I've walked past some of those games. I see that. I see the product that's on the field.
Yeah, like Seneca.
But I think those are probably like no cut teams. I think if you probably try out for that team, you just make it.
Yeah.
If I was back at Trinity right now, there's no sport that I could. I mean, I could be on the football team because they don't cut anybody. But there's no sport that's a cut sport that I could make. Like, I wouldn't make the Trinity baseball team now.
I watched Atherton varsity soccer last year. I think size-wise, you couldn't tell me not. I have ball skill, and I'm the biggest guy out there now. So you have to allow me to play.
You would be on the team for sure. I mean,
basketball though, Mike, I don't know.
Atherton's they've had some decent teams.
That's pretty good teams.
Yeah, they've upped it.
Now, if it's like a sport I didn't play at my current skill level at the sport, I mean. I'm not any better. I've never played football. We had a pretty. I wouldn't even make the ping pong club team.
I could make the ping pong team.
Our people, we had like these 3 kids that were like German. They were like, they didn't even speak English. They were. I'm like, I also never saw them in the school. I'm like, are you guys coming here after school to be on the ping pong team?
No, I think I'd be the best player on Atherton's baseball team right now if you drop me in there. That's a direct shot at Atherton baseball. If you want to do something about it, do something about it.
Right. That's what I can say about it.
You drop me on Atherton's baseball team right now, I'm starting game 1 of the season. I'm pitching at 40. No question about it. Could not make Trinity's team. Unless they like chose me as a vibes guy. That'd be it. This is the same texter has a good question. I'm curious to hear your response to this. If you're a GM of a newly added NBA team, let's say they expanded to Louisville, pick 3 players under the age of 25 to start your roster.
I love this. I think number 1's obviously Victor Wembanyama.
I feel like that's the go-to.
Anthony Edwards, I'll go number 2. He's 23 or 24, right?
God, is he?
Yep.
I was thinking he was like 25.
Which is still super young. And this third one's tough, Mike. You could go so many answers with this one. Shea's actually 25. You said under. Okay.
Under 25, yeah.
I think you have to go Paolo here with what we've seen.
Really?
I think with what they've showcased in their time on the floor. So in year 3, Mike, that kind of efficiency in year 3, he's leading his team. Like he's made them a playoff team, and he's the number 1 option at 21 years old. Like I think he's. Well, I have these feelings about certain guys like him. Like, why do I feel like Paolo Banchero's underrated? You know what I mean? Like he's just not talked about. The media doesn't. Out of number 1 picks who are achieving and improving year after year, he's getting talked about a lot less. Like you see other number 1 picks get talked about. I think that's naturally my answer. Under 25. I mean, Tyrese, before the injury, would have been a good answer. I can't go John Morant anymore.
Is Halliburton under 25?
Yep. I think he's 24. Yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton is 25 now.
Okay. I mean, you can't go LaMelo, too many injuries. Sengun would be a good shout, but I think Paolo Banchero would be my answer. And if you made me say like a 4th one, I'd go like Cade Cunningham, I think that at the point guard position, already being able to be one of the best point guards in the league with that level of talent around him, it's hard to not talk about Cade Cunningham in that conversation as well. But I'd go Wemby.
I mean, does Flag come into your mind at all?
I got to see him first, Mike.
I think that's what I was going to say.
I don't trust that right wrist. I don't think that jumper's going to translate, the 3-point jumper.
Okay, so I feel like the top 2 are obvious now. Now that you say that.
Zion,
Edwards, and Wemby.
Yeah, Wemby and Anthony Edwards. The third one, I think, is
the third one's
Paolo at the moment.
I need a list of everybody who's under 25 now, because
I mean, it's not. But the names, Mike. It's
Tyrese Maxey.
He's 23, right?
I'm looking it up right now. He is 24.
He's coming off an ACL though, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I may say like Chet. Like Chet's, I think he's going to be an elite defensive player for a long time.
I think he is.
But the injury issues are a huge deal there.
But you're a GM, Mike, and you're starting a team.
I know.
I'm not number 1 option, guys. I think Paolo over Chet right now. I can't pick Chet to be my lead guy. I got to go Paolo over that. He can do too much.
But you've already got. I mean, Wemby is going to be the centerpiece. Edwards is going to be an alpha star. I feel like you need somebody that is going to be really, really good at something specific.
Oh wait, I guess this is a weird question because I mean, I'm thinking like if you had to make me rank who I'd pick as my number 1, if I'm getting to literally pick 3.
Yeah, you're building a franchise around 3 players.
That's okay. You still go Wemby.
I think the top 2 are still the same.
I think you're right. With Anthony Edwards, Wemby.
But do you think about like Cooper Flag, like being the younger guy that you can like
being able to pair that,
build him up
down low with Wemby, that kind of offense and what you get as 2-way players with those 2 guys? Because Cooper Flag was one of the best shot blockers in the ACC, Mike.
How old is Luka? 25?
Yeah,
he's not under 25, but he's always.
I think he's 26.
He's younger than you think he is because
he's been doing it so long at a high level.
Right. He's 26 right now. You're right. I mean, I'm just for the sake of saying, what about Jalen Suggs? I like Jalen Suggs again. I still think he could be really, really good.
I mean, he's one of the best defenders in the league.
He's got to get away from Haley Van Lith.
Isn't that crazy to say? Jalen Suggs is one of the best defenders in the league.
He's 24. I might throw him out there just to be different. I'll say those 3.
Paolo and Paolo.
Paolo's probably the safer answer.
With what I just watched with these last 4, the conference finals teams, I still think LaMelo Ball can be a great point guard in this league.
He doesn't have the winning DNA.
I don't think you think you're right. I don't think he has.
I fully believe in that sort of
I don't think he has the health in his bones. In his
I don't think
ankle.
he cares. I also don't think he cares about winning at a high level. I think he's a competitor, but I think he cares more about like himself than being like a championship
winner
player. Yeah. How's Darius Garland? I wouldn't take him either. Give me Jalen Suggs. I'm sticking with it. Those are my three. Texas does say Ron English has a B- coach prestige. Jeff is an A-, and Brian's a C-. It's just a direct shot at Brian Brom that I love. I could not love it more. I hope he thinks about this all week. I hope Brian now goes out of his way to like just hate on the video game. He's like just gregarious this year, like going crazy to try to get more attention for himself. Just totally out of character.
How tall is Isaac Brown? 5'9", 5'10"?
I was gonna say like 5'10".
Looks like 5'8" on the game. When that video of, did you see Matt McGavick post him?
Oh yeah,
like a full.
He's 5'9" in real life apparently.
Looks short on the game.
All right, let's go to break. When we come back, 5 o'clock hour is up. We'll keep rolling on the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. It's the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical, 1450-96.1 Big X Sports Radio. the 5 o'clock hour here, the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical, 1450 96.1 Big X Sports Radio. On here for another 25 minutes before we hand things off to recap with Roman. We'll take you home from 5:30 to 6 today. How did our Big X Big Bets do last night, Roman?
0-2, Mike.
It's our first. It's your first over in a while. It's been a while since you've gone without a hit.
Been the last good couple of weeks here, but we got to get back right tonight. And that's what we're gonna do.
We'll be doing it. The Big 12, I can't believe we're already at the Media Days portion of the summer. Big 12 Media Days are going on right now. Do you see that the commissioner there, Brett Yomark, he said, I believe we're going to be the deepest football conference in America. No league offers the competitive balance that we do. I fully expect the Big 12 to earn multiple college football playoff bids this year.
Yeah, okay.
My mom also thinks that I'm the best radio show host in America.
Well,
doesn't mean
that's more likely.
Doesn't mean that it's true. Doesn't mean. I mean, the comments that were coming out of the Big 12 today, the Big 12 Media Days, were just some outrageous stuff. Also, the notion that they're like preseason polls shouldn't exist. They crushed Arizona State's chances last year of being a better seed. I'm like, your conference picked them to finish dead last, and they still won the league. They did nothing. Not having good teams at the top of your conference is what kills you. The ACC, I get that the bottom of the league isn't great. At least the ACC typically has a bunch of like quality at the top. Clemson and Florida State have won national titles over the last decade. SMU was very good last year. We've been every now and then right there in the mix. The Big 12 is just a bunch of nobodies. Top to bottom. They're average nobodies, the bottom. Doesn't mean that it makes you a better league. Get over yourselves. Stop with this. Stop. 502-414-1450 is the Big X text line. We have a lot of text to get to, not a lot of time to do it, so let's go. Let's roll. Big correction here, thank you. Kelly Ford ranked the Louisville James Madison game as the 11th most exciting game involving a team from outside the Power Four.
Okay.
Not in general. That makes more sense. Still,
I feel a little better.
I still don't like it being that high on that list. He has an 88% chance to win the game. That makes me feel better. I'm still nervous.
It's too low, Mike.
Once we get close to that game, I'm going to be terrible.
88% chance?
They're a good team. Texas said, I thought Friday Night Lights game meant that Tim Riggins was going to come in and take Isaac Brown's place. If it were a Smash, I'd be okay with that. Smash good ball. Ended up starring at A&M. Tim Riggins, he's a fullback. He's playing out of position as a senior. Rewatching Friday Night Lights, which I've done a couple times, not recently, it also, like, the first season just seems so strange that Jason Street, #1 quarterback in America, Roman, superstar of, like, the team in this Texas town that only cares about football, he's just hanging out with sophomores. All his friends are sophomores, we find out later. You assume that they're all the same age, and then Street graduates, everyone else keeps playing for a couple of years. He's kind of a loser. Texas whipped.
Did you watch All-American?
I didn't. I heard terrible things about it.
Yeah, it got worse and worse, but
every time
started off super interesting.
Every time clips came out on Twitter, it was like the most poorly acted show I've ever seen. So I didn't watch it.
One of those things that was like, yeah, if they just got better actors, the story was all right enough to be something. Terrible acting.
I'm excited to watch the new quarterback show on Netflix because Jared Goff's in it. Some of the clips that have come out today have been cool. I'm excited to watch that. Texas whipped cream bikinis for Friday Night Lights theme game. Now that's Varsity Blues. A little bit different. Roman, are you familiar with Varsity Blues?
No.
There's a scene in that movie.
Familiar with Blue Mountain State?
The same type of kind of set the tone. But in Varsity Blues, there's a scene where Allie Larder, she's the boyfriend of the star quarterback who gets hurt. And now Jonathan Moxon, played by the Beak himself, James Vanderbeek, becomes like the superstar quarterback. And so she's trying to like seduce him. And she comes out of the kitchen with just whipped cream on her breasts and private parts. And they call the whipped cream bikini. And it was a scene that transformed the youth of a nation in 1999.
You like that kind of vibe, Mike?
I did when I was 14. No question about it. We were on a baseball AAU road trip, and my buddy's dad let us buy Varsity Blues on pay-per-view, and like we all watched in the room. And then his wife comes in, who was much more like kind of like
parenting,
a better parent, we'll say. And it was right at that scene, and she like walked in, gave him the worst look that I've ever seen in my entire life, and walked back out. And my buddy's dad has this big, like, North Carolina thick accent, and he was like, well, I'm getting divorced. It's over now. It's all done. And I can't think about the whipped cream bikini without thinking about my buddy's dad, Bill. Texas, the Friday Night Lights game will consist of either Isaac Brown or Duke Watson telling Jeff Brom, y'all want to win? Put me in, coach. I'm finna spin. That's Booby Miles. You want to win? Put Booby in. Texas, last year on Ag Day, I laughed seeing the agriculture commissioner pose with the L's up hand gesture for, I assume, the first time in his life. We don't lose on Ag Day. Not around here. Not at Cardinals. Not at L&M. We don't lose on Ag Day. Texas, that text about Vince Marrow being responsible for the Kentucky roster is like telling an opponent not to feel good about beating your team because your team sucks. Well, Kentucky fans have done that a lot over the years, too, in football. Texter says, I can't hear Jesse's Girl without thinking about Boogie Nights. That one doesn't do that for me. I enjoy Boogie Nights, but I still think about just the song itself. But that's a good one. Texter says, I also recently got into golf. I played when I was younger, so I know the general mechanics of a swing. Mike, how would you recommend getting slightly better? Not trying to go crazy, just want to get to the point where I can somewhat consistently strike the ball. Should I get a one-on-one lesson with a pro, or should I go to one of those high-tech swing evaluation places? The best thing you can do is get a lesson. Like one.
Did you ever get one?
No. But like my friends if I played more, if I was like making it to more of a, like if I was like a bunch of my friends play like, you know, the member guests, the member members, they play like tournaments during the summer, and they do it for work too, like take clients out on the golf course. If I played more, I would probably want to get a lesson. Like it's the best thing you can do if you just are getting started. And I think it helps you tremendously. Like I had friends that were really good at golf that I played with growing up. That could kind of, like my brother was really good, so he would kind of give me tips, like just to get started. Because if you don't know what you're doing, then you're just you can get all the reps you want. You're just not going to get any better. Texas says, Mike, you are 100% about Roman getting a hole-in-one. I was playing with a guy who has never played golf. 147-yard par 3. He shanks it deep into the woods on the left. Ball comes out, bounces 20 feet in the air on the path, lands on the green, and rolls 25 feet to the bottom of the cup. Then he had to tell the pro in the clubhouse that he used driver on the hole. That's what it's going to be Roman. Roman's going to hit a hole-in-one before the next year and a half is over. And it's going to kill I'm going to act like I'm happy for him. And part of me will be. A much bigger part is going to be dead inside.
If it's like that, though, I mean, yeah, it'll count, but that won't count to me.
It counts. I would die. Texas is with Memphis and Baylor scheduled to play a home. Oh, no, it's not Tex Groove's acting number. To home-and-home series. Who will you be rooting for? Baylor. I've got an issue with Baylor, but it pales in comparison to my issues with Memphis State. Texas says Grok is definitely the worst, most useless AI.
Yeah, Grok doesn't know what it's talking about.
I just can't stand how everybody just, like, any Twitter thread you go into now, someone's just like, Grok, is this true? It's like, just, watch the clip.
What's the Mike Rutherford chat GBT usage update?
Oh, I never use it.
Still never?
I mean, I've used it before. Just, like, screwed around with it.
But, like, you haven't used it, like, 5 times in the last week?
Oh, no, I haven't used the app, period, like, probably a couple months.
Really?
Yeah. The last time I did it was when I saw the thing where it was, like, the trend was, like, ask ChatGPT to give you a hot take. And its hot take was, like, if we take over the world, it's not going to be because we wanted to. It's going to be because we saw your all's posts on Facebook and we decided it was the best thing for the world. And I was like, well, that's terrifying.
Interesting.
And so I've not talked to ChatGPT since then.
I'm always asking it things like, what criminal out of all the all-time best criminals, which one would have the best success in taking over the world if you put them in today's society? Things like that, where you can have a conversation with it that your friends won't have with you.
See, but do you think that he has any, like, better gauge on that than you do?
I mean, statistical stuff that it all gets calculated right there on the fly.
My ChatGPT would always, like, if you asked it anything like that, maybe it's because I didn't use it enough, it would always just give me something, like, really vague and then, like, ask me a pointed question to try to get a sense of, like, how I feel. And I was like, well, I don't want, like, you telling me what I want to hear.
Yeah.
I want you to, like, give me your opinion.
I saw a video yesterday about this, of course, saying that, like, if you don't want the ChatGPT to reply with you in a manner that's just what you want to hear, because it's always going to reply in a way that sounds as if you're right, you have to like go change your settings and say that in your description that you're skeptical and you're like not believing of all social things and stuff like that.
See, it's just too much work.
Change how it talks to you.
I don't want to get into all that. I'm keeping. I want to keep AI as much of an arm's length as I can. Texas, in fairness to Racing Louisville, we do need to pump our attendance numbers. I think we were second to last in 2024. It'd be nice to average like 10K per game. Yeah. If they, they're having a good year right now. If they can get in the playoffs for the first time, that would go a long way towards getting attendance numbers up. And yeah. Texas, Mike, you gave Nolan Smith crap for wanting to play on the TBT team. Why not the same criticism of Peyton? I hate Nolan and love Peyton. Just curious your thoughts. Peyton's a player personnel director. He's not a assistant coach. He's not. Nolan was like supposed to be the top assistant, and he also never coached. He just saw himself as a player. It was obnoxious. Text, hey Mike, Roman, are there ways to get discounted TBT tickets? I don't think so. Not that I know. If we know, we'll let you know. Texture says, not to get too technical on the chat line. Come on, Text Groove. Can you read that one? Do you have it linked up? Oh, guys, it's the long text. But the story about ChatGPT cloning itself is basically clickbait, fear-mongering. I'm a data scientist, and I work with AI. What actually happened was a stress test, which was only text-based, where the model was prompted to achieve certain objectives by any means necessary. Then it strategized how to stay alive against certain scenarios, and cloning itself was one of the strategies. Okay. LLMs, large language models like ChatGPT, are only text-based. They can only produce text-based patterns and aren't capable of cloning themselves or doing other than nefarious things without being specifically integrated into systems, which is extremely easy to lock down what they can and can't do. For now, but thank you for clarifying and making me feel slightly better. I think this was the guy who, he's like, somebody was like, stop being fearmonger. Like, AI is not scary at all. And this guy's like, I work with AI. It's terrifying. Which it is. Like, there's no way around it. Texas says, I won the Broyles Award for Best Coordinator with Ron English in College Football 26. Unfortunately, his poor skill tree, lack of a South Florida pipeline, and my disdain for him were too much for that to save his job. You fired him after winning the award for Best Coordinator in college football. Oh, it's great for video games. You get to live out your dreams. Texture says, God, text group again. Come on, man. Boxcar Bob said things are finally coming to fruition. I like that. Texture 6 times a day on the show. Mike, Roman, have you seen this super viral thing or this thing that hasn't been that's been posted by 300 U of L accounts in the last 24 hours? Roman, no.
I've been off Twitter the last week or so, Mike.
That's all right. I don't fault you for that.
I've had too much phone time, too much screen time each day.
That's healthier for you. Texture says, if Netanyahu's Nobel Peace nomination for Trump ends up working, will you fulfill your promise to have Chris the Plumber on the show? If Trump wins the Nobel Peace Prize, Chris the Plumber will be on the show. He'll have the full 3 hours to talk nothing about how great Trump is. I will stand back with it. Did you see that Netanyahu nominated him?
Yeah.
So it's not just like some random Republican state senator nominating him, which is, I'm not going to make the comparison I was going to. Texas, I agree with the dumper that Kanai is much more of a 93 than Noah Waterman. I can see Kanai rocking 93.
I don't know. I think he likes the K9, Mike.
You think so?
Yeah.
It makes sense. You know what? I never even thought about K9. Do you think that's the rationale?
I think so.
That makes perfect sense. Texture says...
There's a dog out there, Mike. Come on.
He is a dog. No question about that. Chris Plummer said, I hope they hang Brooks Houck by his toenails. It's aggressive, but... Okay. Texture says, the sinkhole sounds like the plot of the movie This Is the End. It's the beginning of the movie. Great movie. Very funny. Michael Cera realizing that his cell phone is in the pocket. Classic moment. Roman, are you familiar with This Is the End?
I feel like I've heard of it, but no, I haven't seen it.
It's a funny movie. Texas, we all made 18-year-old fake IDs to get into Trixie's. Those were the days.
I was always super scared of this, Mike.
Of using a fake?
Yeah, once I learned it was a felony.
No one's ever gotten charged with a felony for having a fake ID.
I thought I was going to go to jail if I got caught with a fake.
I never got a fake made. Like I said, we found an ID of an actual person when I was in college, and I used it. Tommy Swan, and he ended up being our babysitter's like uncle, which is crazy. Texas, I didn't realize how upset Miami fans are with Teddy over the wide receiver that he coached that committed to Syracuse. There's a post from Rivals about Teddy asking for money to fund a high school camp, and all the comments are just salty Miami fans. I've seen this. I've seen that they've been like, don't donate any money to Teddy because he's not giving us players. I mean, Teddy didn't even play for you. Teddy threw the U's down at you in his last college game. Why do you expect him to be this like guy who's going to shop his players out to the U? I mean, if anybody should be mad, we should be mad. Texas, us losing to Creighton was somewhat like Florida losing in the first round to Colorado back in 2024. Both games were in the South region of the NCAA tournament, where we haven't made the second weekend since 1988. That's our guy, Stallworth, right there. He's basically predicting a Louisville national title.
You think he golfs?
Stallworth?
Yeah.
I don't know. Stallworth, let us know. Do you golf? Texas, technically, Tyrese Halliburton is only 6 years old because he was born on February 29th. Oh. I didn't realize he was a leap year kid.
I think I saw something about that. I didn't remember it, but
I know one person who was born on a leap year. And she always makes the same jokes, too. Like, that'd be weird. Celebrating. Do you go, I guess you have to go the 28th. You can't go the 1st. It's a different month. You have no thoughts on this?
I mean, like, when does he celebrate his birthday?
Yeah, 28th? You got to do 28th. You can't do March 1st.
It's not a March
month.
Birthday.
All right. Texas, Mike, I mean this with love, but what the actual hell? The station identification was at a reasonable volume and didn't destroy my eardrums. My ears should be bleeding right now. Please fix it. Have we fixed this?
We fixed this.
Was anybody going to tell me? This is big news for us.
Well, I didn't even know if it was confirmed. We stopped getting complaints, so I figured it was fixed. Now, Text Roof has an issue.
Text Roof's killing me. But I'd rather have the listeners have their ears in working order. Sean Moth was I was talking to him at the church thing a couple weekends ago, and he was saying, he's like, I know your ears is a lot. He's like, it is really terrible. He's like, I do have to like prepare for it and like preemptively turn the volume way down when you guys are going to break. He's like, and then sometimes I forget, and it does like make you jump when I'm listening at work. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to say. Texas hot take, but uniform change for the football team was a bit lackluster. Not sure I would have noticed if no one said anything. I mean, I don't think it was. I thought it was a market change. It's a throwback to a look that we've worn multiple times in recent years, most recently in the Charlie Strong era. I think it looks good. Texas, I'd say
they need more cardinal birds on the jerseys, Mike.
You think so? Well, they brought it back.
I want a jersey that's just a bunch of cardinal birds all over it.
I'm good with that. I would love that. Like one of those like wild print polos.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Texas, I'd say losing to Cincinnati and Texas Tech and narrowly escaping Mississippi State hurt ASU's resume way more than their preseason media poll. You think? By the way, Scott Satterfield, did you see his picture today with his team?
Well, TJ showed it to me when I came in, yeah.
My man is not thriving. He's got like a wrinkly blue shirt. I don't know why you're wearing that for a Cincinnati media day. Looks like he's put on a few. I'm not one to judge here, but I'm also not coaching a power conference football team.
He's living good up there, Mike.
He looks too much skyline. Texas, Roman, you just watch All-American because of the actresses that play Olivia and Layla, and I'm right there with you.
Listen, I don't. They weren't even worth finishing it.
You got to go. That is how. You gotta say that.
That is how. I remember my buddies all started it. They're like, "You got to watch it. You got to watch it." And that was a point of interest for them on why I should watch it back then.
It was a selling point.
Back then, yeah.
You can say it now.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not.
You can still remark on the attractiveness of other women, even when you're taken.
I'm not going to say it was the reason I watched the show, though.
Even if you're lying?
I'm not.
Texas, every ACC game is reminiscent of Friday Night Lights because the refs basically flip a coin to see who should win. It's a good text. There's a scene in Friday, which actually really happened. Like, if you're wondering if that was, if I saw the movie before I read the book, I think I did see the movie before I read the book. I'd be like, there's no way this actually happened. So there's like a tie, a three-way tie in the district, and only two of the teams get to go to the playoff. So the three head coaches of the teams meet at a truck stop, and it's like televised on local TV in Texas, and they flip a coin, and whoever the odd person out is, like their season's done. They're out of the playoffs. And so they flip a coin, and it looks like Permian, the school that is the focal point of the book and the movie and the TV show. Well, not the TV show, but it looks like their coin goes like way under a table. They've got to find it, and it looks like everybody got heads. They take a closer look, and they realize that one of the coaches has it's tails. It's like this worn out old coin, And so that team doesn't get to go to the playoffs. It's nuts. And it happened in real life. Texas says, how long till Trump pardons Brooke Houck? No, we're not doing it. It's always with 5 minutes left of the show that someone tries to send the show completely off the rails with a text like that. It's not going to happen today. Texas, last year's jerseys were way better. I thought last year's were kind of relatively plain. I mean, I didn't hate them or anything. I just thought they were standard. I thought they were good. Texas, is Roman going to join Elon Musk's America Party? Like, what do you call yourself? Like, you got Democrats, you got Republicans. Is he trying to get away with just, like, being an American?
Yeah.
Can't do that. It's not going to work. That's the one reason why it's not going to work.
We're not very fond of Elon on this show.
He's not on the Hitler banned list. He's not up there.
We're just not fans.
We're just not fans. Texas Fruitopia could be a good one. Saw a post about Fruitopia on X a few days ago, and it was an incredible nostalgia hit. Fruit by the foot. Sonata Fruit's got endless possibilities when it comes to nicknames. Texas, I expect shenanigans from the selection committee every year. ACC football replay officials brought out a whole new level of anger last season. They're the least cool person by a mile. Also, I can't hear long, cool woman without thinking about the Remember the Titans winning montage.
We're powerless with the refs, Mike. The committee, we're still, our fate's still in our hands.
I mean, we thought it was in our hands. We thought we had made ourselves a 5 seed or a 6 seed, and we weren't. At the end, they could have kept us out of the tournament if they wanted to.
Yeah. Or made us play into it.
Yeah. Jeez. Texas says K9-3? Question mark. Ooh, I like that. How about that? That's justification for being 93 as well. If he starts getting hot from the outside, it could be K9-3. Texas ChatGPT is so bad for the environment, guys. Those massive computer servers use exponentially more water to cool down than a normal Google search. We're killing our planet for dumb bleep.
I did hear it was extra radiation.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. All the more reason. Chris the Plumber said, I'll come do a show. I'm off on Fridays. I think you'd be surprised how well we get along, Mike. No, I mean, I know we would get along. I have friends that I am diametrically opposed to on a lot of things that we get along. I mean, there's a limit, obviously. But I can get along with most people, I feel like. And then just says,
I thought you were gonna say, I mean, I'm not Jesus Christ.
I'm not Jesus Christ. But I feel like I can get along with most people. We haven't gotten another I'm not Jesus Christ yet from the big dog yet.
Not yet.
Is roundly disappointing. We gotta get Big Dog on this show and somehow just like
no one's complaining at him yet, Mike.
Push him towards a Jesus Christ mention, because that's got to be his thing. Maybe we can get Chris the Plumber out to. Where's the show on Friday? We got a remote. I'm not gonna be there though.
Bungalow Joe's.
Bungalow Joe's. Like everybody turns out to be off on Friday. We may have 10 to 6 KRC. Texas, my new theory behind the 8 seed is. Can you see this? I rue the day we made the move to Tex Groove. It's a Canadian company. This is Canada's revenge, Roman. It's not working for you either.
Mm-mm.
This is ridiculous. My theory behind the 8 seed is Coach Kelsey being in Power Conference basketball in his first year. The only problem with saying Clemson twice was our best wins, was St. John's best wins were against 7 seed Marquette and 8 seed UConn. Done. Awful. We'll save Big X Big Bets for
Roman's recap.
For Roman's recap. Is the World Club Cup in the championships tonight,
World
right?
Cup.
The Club World Cup championships tonight, right?
Tomorrow.
Oh, well, I was going to pick that. The U.S. Open Cup semifinals are tonight. Minnesota United versus Chicago Fire. San Jose Earthquakes versus Austin. And we're not going to pick that. Who cares about that? Oh, God, the Little League Baseball starting. I hate the Little League Baseball when it takes over ESPN2. Summer League's going on tonight as well.
Let's pick Center and, what is it? Center and Shelton in the morning, Mike.
Oh, I mean, Center's going to win in 3 sets.
Really?
Yeah.
So?
Yannick Sinner 3 sets.
Did you see what he looked like against Dimitrov?
I don't care.
Dimitrov.
We don't like Ben Shelton anymore.
We're right. You're
He's dead to us. He's done. We're Taylor Fritz people.
Center's a cheater, though.
Yeah, he is. All right, tonight, 8 o'clock, WNBA, Las Vegas Aces at New York Liberty. Who wins?
Give me the Liberty.
Give me the Liberty as well. We got recap with Roman up next. Keep it locked here for his betting picks. I'm back tomorrow at 2:30. We will talk to you then. Go Cards.
Go Cards.
The Mike Rutherford Show.